Listen, bro, this is gonna be. Oh, I should have worn the suit. I should have changed into a suit. Dadgummit.
Do a tuxedo t-shirt, perhaps?
No, no, unfortunately
Listen,
not.
bro.
They can absolutely hear me, by the way. Check, check, 1, 2.
Welcome, everyone, to the Let Purple Rain podcast. My name is Joe Arpasi, otherwise known as Purple Rain. Thank you for tuning in for this special live event. This is the live draft for the 2025 Battle for the Belt 52-Man League Challenge. I want to give a huge thanks to this event's sponsor, Arm Championship Belts. Let's see how well I can do this here. They have designed this amazing belt that is going to be given to the winner of this league. This is not just some laser printed on flat metal. This is molded metal, everything around this. This is the real deal. I haven't weighed it. It is quite heavy, folks. It weighs like a real wrestling belt. Let me make sure that my focus is back here. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in here. I'm going to just go over a couple of little basic information to get us started. This is a 52-man league. There are no duplicate players, and we are using all FBS schools. Because we have this many teams involved in this league, it's a much smaller roster that we are doing. The amounts that we are running off the top of my head here, I don't have notes in front of me. I believe we have a total of 2 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, and 6 wide receivers / tight ends for every team. We're going to be going through doing this live draft here, and you're going to kind of see it go out and play out in with 52 teams. It's going to be interesting. We're going to be going live for about 2 to 2.5 hours. I'm going to wait and find a good stopping point in that time frame when a round wraps up. And then we'll be stopping this broadcast, and our league will continue this as an offline slow draft. I am joined here today by 2 guys to start with. Our third, Eric Froton. He is busy right now with a Tadpole Bowl draft. He'll be dialing in later, but I have, to get us started here, Jared Palmgren and John McKechnie. Jared Palmgren is a host of the Chasing the Natty podcast. You can find that on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. He also is a member of the Campus to Canton team. And we have John McKechnie, the big dog from Rotowire, here in the house. How are you guys doing? You guys are still muted.
We are still muted indeed. Yeah, I'll start again then. Yeah, it's great to be here, Joe. Again, love the content you do. It's a beautiful day down here in, northern, or I guess yeah, I'm still northern Georgia. Over here in Metro Atlanta and everything. Just got done with a fun day of going around to just a bunch of garage sales and estate sales that were going on around me. Didn't find too much, but it's a great way to cap the day is to do a your casual 52 man college fantasy league.
And same deal here, like almost to a T, minus the estate sales. I also am in the great state of Georgia, and Jared and I both graduates of the University of Georgia. And yeah, I mean, I've been looking forward to this since February, Joe. Like when you first started kind of laying out the railroad tracks for this, and at first I'm like, is that possible? Like, can you do 52 teams? And the answer is, folks, we're gonna see. And
All right.
I can't.
I think the answer is yes.
Yes, I'm going to bring up the first thing from the live chat here. Felix Sharp coming in with shots fired saying Jared is secretly 64 years old.
Spiritually,
I'm not secretly 64 years old. I am just a smart shopper because we almost got ourselves a brand new dining set for about 175 bucks a day. So
ooh,
Yeah.
can't argue with value.
Exactly.
I spent a little more money than that at the end of last week. My wife and I, we bought a brand new 22-foot pontoon boat. And we're paying cash.
As you do.
Uh,
Just
yeah,
The green rain, not the purple rain. Jeez.
exactly. It's one
exactly.
of those things when you don't have kids and you're not gonna have kids when you're dinks. You can waste your money on that.
Oh no, I'm fully aware of the date lifestyle. It's just I'm 25 years old, so I'm not ready to have kids yet. So we're me and my fiance are living the good life on that front.
So real quick here for people that are brand new, watching for the first time, Jared and John, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, the work that you do? I've given a little plug from where you guys are at. Just kind of help fill everybody in.
Yeah, so I am from the Campus of Canton crew over at campusofcanton.com. I'm the lead of the CFF team. I run a weekly podcast for CFF, Chasing the Natty. It is the only year-round weekly podcast out there. I got tons of great guests on every single week. We're in the middle of our Crash Course series. For those of you who are just tuning in, just kind of learning about what college fantasy is going to look like this year, absolutely tune in over the next couple of weeks. We do live drafts every Sunday night. It's a fun time. Joe, you'll actually be joining me for that next Sunday, not tomorrow night, but the Sunday afterwards, and that's going to be an absolute blast. I've been doing it for about 5 years now. I'm blown away by how successful it has become over the last couple of years. And again, I can be more thankful for it and allows me to do awesome stuff like this.
Go ahead, John.
And for me, I work at rotowire.com. For a while there, I was the college football editor there at rotowire.com. I still have my tendrils in that section, but our main editor is Chris Benzine. So if you like any of the stuff on rotowire.com under the college football section, give him a thanks. He has really done a great job with it, but you can't get rid of me that easily. I have a different role within the site, but I still love college football more than anything else in the world. And so I am still involved in our projections process, still write our weekly DFS articles for the DraftKings main slate. And I've just been, over the last few weeks in particular, like just hammering these underdog best ball drafts. That can only prepare you so much, though, when we're talking 52 teams, full FBS universe, though. So, I mean, it's cute that you know the guys from Alabama and Georgia. Can you tell me about Sam Houston State? Can you tell me about Jacksonville State. We're going to learn a little bit about that today, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
I will gladly tell you about those guys,
I
John.
saw you take Cam Cook in our draft, and I was a little bit peeved. So yes, I'm up to speed at least.
there you go. And a couple comments here. Heath Boyd complimenting John, stash of the year. And
You've got a
He's a
killer
gent.
stash,
yes,
John. It's pretty awesome.
and Brett's
Appreciate it.
Brett's commenting, Joe already drinking golden bullets. For those of you that are not that have not watched my Diary of a Draft Man series, I like to drink adult beverages while I draft. I am sporting the Play College Fantasy Football.
Look at that.
Very
koozie
nice.
here. So I call them golden treats. I call them Steve Weisers. I'm definitely going to be going through them here because that's what I do. The only thing I can't do because we're on YouTube is I can't play my music. I'm not going to take those copyright strikes. So we're not going to be rocking out in this one. But you're just going to have to listen to all of us yahoos throughout the draft while we talk here. We are about 2 minutes away from the draft starting. Like you guys were talking about, like you have to kind of go deep and not many of us think about like, hey, who's the running back one at Louisiana Tech? But when you're planning for something like this, you kind of have to once you start getting in those late rounds. And it's nice, like I said, we have a smaller roster. So the hope is, and it was really designed in a way that like 52 teams, we're only starting one quarterback. So there's only going to be 52 starting quarterbacks every week. Obviously, you need to be able to pick up some guys, and we will have an auction set up for transactions during the year of this league. But it's interesting of how deep that we're going to go because, man, I guarantee you by the time we hit third round, we're going to be sitting there going, oh, shoot, I'm still trying to fill my starting lineup.
Well, the math's pretty simple here, right, Joe? You give us 12 rounds here as 52 teams, so that's the equivalent of us doing a 52 round regular draft. And normally, college fantasy leagues only go to about 30 rounds. Now, I'm degenerate, and I've got two 60-round best balls going right now because I just thought of that one day, and I said, "Hey, who wants to join this?" John, you joined into one of those, and they're fun so far, but both of those drafts are still in the first 30 rounds, so we haven't really gotten into the weeds too far yet in terms of what those are going to look like by the time
Right.
round 50, 55 gets around in those. And I will say though, I have done 20 round CUSA only best balls before. And that was you want to talk about the light dying in
Yeah.
drafters' eyes very quickly. You get to about round 10 in that and you realize you're drafting walk-ons and it gets rough real quick.
Another thing that's going to help us out too, to let all the listeners know, the draft's getting ready to start here, is that we are using best ball scoring. So nobody has to set a lineup. That was something I wanted to do to make it easier for everyone to manage their teams. It's just a little too hard. If you got to set a lineup and you drafting, your second quarterback could be UTEP's quarterback. Like the odds are you probably will never put him in a lineup over your top guy. But now at least with the best ball format, you got that chance where those lower down bench guys, if they have a good week or something, that they might be able to contribute in your lineup.
So, not a question from our chat on YouTube, but in our chat in the league here, Joe, and I'm curious to get y'all's thoughts on this. This big of a draft, better to be up front, in the middle, or towards the end? Where would you rather be right now?
What do you think, John?
Well, I'm biased because I am picking a little bit later on, and obviously, like the truest of workhorses at the running back position, and probably some of the best mobile quarterbacks, dual threat quarterbacks are going to be gone. But I like the idea of having two top 60 picks as opposed to like the first pick and the 104th pick. So I'm just as Homer Simpson would say, the creamy middle. I'm okay with being there.
Dang, I'm watching all these guys come off the board, and I was really hoping they would make it to me at pick 32. Darn.
Well, so Jared and I are drafting right next to each other today, guys. I don't mind like where we're at. It's one of those by the end, the early rounds is where the real money guys you can hang your hat on are going to be. So I kind of do prefer being around the middle to the back part, but at the same time, Like we don't know how good are those options going to be in round 3 and 4 yet. So as long as it's
For
an
sure.
even ending round that you're looking at, excuse me, if you're in the middle of the back part, like that's good if you're talking through round 2 or through round 4. If you're talking through round 3 or 5, it is a little better to be at the front. So I think in
Yeah.
the end, it probably is all going to wash out. And I've said this before. I do tier rankings. I'm basically just going to be looking at who are the best guys in the tiers available and just taking best on the board. There's no ADP that's going to prepare you for this. Like, you just grab your guys. Don't try and get fancy and think, oh, I could probably get this guy later. If you think he's the best guy, I think you just got to draft him and you just hope
Hmm.
everything shakes out by the end of it. But once again, we've got transactions. So, unlike best ball, you can whiff on some options and try and grab guys later.
Hmm. Yeah, and like you said, we'll have the option to kind of fix anything here. We're not stuck with whatever lineup we get here. Obviously, in a 52-man league. Well, Joe, did you explain like the playoff format in this and everything about what exactly we're trying to accomplish in each period of the season?
I did not go through that. So this is a combination. It's like a hybrid format that I put together here. There are 4 divisions. So 12 of the 12 subscribers to my website are in each division, plus one of us special contestants. The 3 of us you see on screen, plus Eric Froton, who got a very nice auto pick there with Ryan Williams. Um, so we have, it comes out to 4 team divisions. And I don't have the exact weeks in front of me. I believe it's the first 8 weeks of the season is just best ball scoring. We're just seeing who scores the most points. Then there is a 2-week divisional playoff. The top 8 highest scoring teams from each division go into their own mini playoff against each other. They work their way through that to have 4 divisional champions. The 4 divisional champions then go on to have the main playoffs to see who wins the actual championship. All of the divisional playoffs and the league playoffs are all going to be done by head-to-head point matchups. But that first part, what I'm calling the divisional regular series, it's just score as many points as you can and then make it into your divisional playoffs. So it gives the opportunity of a lot of people. Like I said, 8 out of 13 teams technically make, or 8 out of 13 teams in every division make the playoffs technically.
Gotcha. So again, you're just trying those first 9 weeks. You're just trying to tread water, make it just
Hmm.
get into those playoff formats, and then from there, that's when things start getting a bit more. That's where things start getting a little bit more serious. And if I'm being honest, like really, if you're with 8 out of every 13 teams making it from each division, really if you're just paying attention somewhat, you're more than likely gonna be fine in that first part. It's that second
Hmm.
part where things get real dicey real quick.
I think the biggest interesting thing for what I want to see play out in this league is how everyone's going to handle the auction for pickups. There's no free for all grab who you want. There's no. I did not want to do a waiver wire because who wants to get stuck with a 50-second pick in the waiver wire?
No, for sure.
So instead, it's bid. How much do you want a guy? Everyone has a $300 auction budget, but it does not get refilled. If
Um,
there's a guy that you think is the difference maker who pops off in week 3, you can bet all $300 on it.
what style of bidding system are we doing here, Joe? Are we doing like eBay style bidding, or are we doing just straight bidding?
Straight
Right?
bidding,
It was it straight bidding. So
straight
if I
bidding.
bet $50 and the next guy behind him, only bets 35, I'm still paying my $50.
Yes.
That's correct. So
Cool.
like you got
Just
to
wanted to be
commit.
sure. I've made that mistake in a league
You've got
before.
to commit that money, and I think it's like there's going to be strategy involved with that because once again too, those early weeks you just kind of want to survive, but you know how many times do you think maybe this guy won't get picked up? I'll bid $1.
Hmm.
And that's the other thing I'll throw out there too. So we do auctions Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday because you can put in auctions and not get anyone, so you need to have second wave or a third wave. But like one thing I know is like I might just sit there and be like, here's $1 on a guy. Here's $5 on a guy. Maybe I get him, maybe I don't. Maybe I'll get more aggressive on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Maybe I'll get more aggressive because it's a good guy in a system. Like there's just a lot of strategy that I think is going to come up with how you're going to manage your transactions. And really, you have to put your money where your mouth is. And some people might blow their whole budget early. And then those of us that saved money, we're competing with less people. I could see a lot of different ways that'll play out.
Yeah, I love like the fab system generally speaking. You see it applied, I think more like in a mainstream way in like baseball leagues. And I think applying it to the college football realm is fascinating because it is so much more like high speed. Like you got 11, 12 weeks to really make it count. Whereas like that's not even like a drop in the bucket baseball
Yeah,
wise. And
yeah,
if in baseball, like say a guy is taking over the closer role, like maybe you put like 40% of your budget, but like that could like ultimately like not pan out. Whereas, okay, like we have something. Let's see. I'm trying to think of like a good example. Like say like the Michigan quarterback competition from a couple years ago. I suppose McNamara and McCarthy both would have been drafted, but bear with me here. Like
yeah.
Harbaugh did let that competition play out into the season, and it's like what the bidding for that would have been fascinating with both of those guys, kind of alternating starts the first 2 weeks of the season. So just applying like the how heavy do you want to go at these particular guys in these kind of like more contested job battles early in the season when it comes to the college realm. I think it's a really fascinating like wrinkle to this league.
One strategy I brought up in some of my podcasts about the Tadpole Bowl was I liked a late round strategy of targeting stacks with quarterbacks, wide receivers, and tight ends, and just securing handcuff rooms, whether they're what running back, wide receiver, because you start getting toward the end of those drafts, and it's like, why not just say I'm going to draft 2 Washington State running backs and just see how it shakes out? Because in the Tadpole Bowl, just like this league, you can make transactions later. You can cut guys. You can add other guys. So that's another thing of it might be hard securing the a full handcuff room in this league. We are getting closer to my and Jared's picks here.
Can we
That's
quickly
one
talk
thing.
about how insane it is that Elliott got Lenora Sellers at pick 24?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like considering all
and
the
he
quarterbacks
wasn't.
that are
I
coming
don't
off
think he
the
was in the
floor,
room either.
he wasn't in the room. He just lucked into probably the best pick of the draft so far. Like, good lord.
And I do think luck is going to be a huge part of how this all plays out. I'm just going to go back to the chat here. Actually, our picks are coming up, so why don't Jared and I kind of focus in? I
Yes,
see
please.
one guy who's screaming who I'm going to draft, and I got to figure out if he's gone, who I'm going to get here.
I'm trying to decide whether I'm picking with my brain here or picking with my heart, depending on what happens with these next three picks.
Always a tricky dynamic.
It is. It really, really, truly is.
Okay, I got my 3 guys in mind. I'll get one of them. I'm willing to roll the dice too. It's one of those like I don't have my queue windows really small the way that I got everything set up. I'm not gonna overthink a lot of things. I am just kind of gonna do like what's best on board. And
All
it's right
right.
over
Now we get
my
to see.
all right, best on the board. Only guy left in this tier in my rankings. I'm taking McAllister. Sorry, Jared.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine actually because you took away the heart pick,
Yep.
and I'm gonna have to go with I'm gonna have to go with the brain pick
Wisner.
here. Yep, I'm gonna go with Wisner.
He was one of my
Um,
3.
I'm gonna go with Wisner here because I think that in a league as big as this, it accentuates even more just how much running back's going to dry up at
Yeah.
some point. And I feel like I have to spend a first round pick on running back here. Otherwise, I'm going to be in trouble later on. Quarterbacks, I'm fine with, especially with us only being able to roster 2.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it'll suck at one point. But again, I think I'm pretty comfortable with getting a pretty decent guy as my first quarterback and kind of riding with that. Versus running back, I have no clue what's going to make it back to me in the second round, let alone what's going to be there, rounds 7 through 12. So
Yeah,
we'll
I had
see.
I had 2 running backs in my queue. One of them is a heart pick. But like I said, I'm sticking to just I rank these guys out in tiers based on it's a little bit of scoring difference. The passing yards are 0.05, but passing touchdowns are 5 points. Passing completions are point 0.1 point. It's something that
Hmm.
I like doing in my leagues to kind of balance out the pocket passers and the dual threat quarterbacks. Um, and it's half PPR.
Yep.
So for me, I made my tiers based off of that and my projections and the way that I kind of do my rankings. And I'm just sticking to, if there's just someone in a tier above everybody else, I'm just going to go by tiers and then go by who I like in those tiers.
It's so funny me looking at the top of my screen and seeing 34 picks until your next turn. I'm just loading up my queue. Let's see if I can get to 34 players I can put in here that I'll feel comfortable with.
So here's a trick I do for anyone watching. I find this as something that makes things easier. Once I've loaded in all my player rankings, I go into the draft room once it's available, and I just load everyone in my player rankings into my queue. Because you can filter it by position in the queue. And later on, if you're trying to avoid bye weeks, you can go through, look at the bye weeks, and then just take those people out of your queue.
See, like I just plug them into the ranked players page, and then it automatically shows up in the thing at the bottom, and that's where I can filter by position there. I can't really filter by position in the queue. Oh wait, I guess. Oh, I see it
It's
now.
a little upside down triangle.
I see now. I see. I've never actually used that before. But
I use it all the time on Diary of a Draftman because I have my entire queue window showing while I'm talking out what I'm thinking for my drafts. John's getting ready to pick. So John, why don't we let you take over?
Yeah, sorry, I kind of clammed up there for a
That was
second.
fine.
You know, the weight of all of this was dawning on me at once, and I'm like, oh my God, I have to like.
so
Like
who is John gonna take here at pick 45?
with my first pick, this is the guy that if I had the one overall, I was going to be taking, of course. So we'll see if our guy Pat snipes me or not, but I'm kind of following y'all's lead and going with probably in my estimation that the best kind of like workhorse running back on the board still remaining, because those are the unicorns. That's the rare minerals that you need. I'm glad, as much as I love Nate Frazier, I'm okay with him going off the board there. I'm going to go with a bit of a Rotowire favorite, someone that we might be a little bit hotter on than others.
My boy?
Give me some Emma Johnson.
Okay.
Give me some Emma Johnson out of Nebraska, babies. Give me some Huskers. Okay.
Were you being serious about him being your 101?
No, I just had to do that for
I was gonna say, like, hell of a take if that's the case. I would love to hear it.
And like the beauty of that take is like you never really have to like put your feet to the fire, because like you'd never have to take him 1-1, but you can just say that you would.
Exactly.
But what is the Rotowire team like about Emmett?
I think that there's just maybe the market is a little bit under on Nebraska taking a step forward offensively this year, and we liked what Emma Johnson was able to do kind of late in the season. It was a backfield that maybe was a little bit up for grabs over the course of the year, but we felt like Johnson kind of showed that he was the guy going into this season, and we feel like the point total is going to go up this year. I think that if Rayola takes a step forward, I think that's just like one of those things where the offensive environment just raises everybody's projection. I think in Johnson's case, if he can be the lead back, we're talking 35-40% of the carries, I think the fantasy production follows from there.
I want to throw out a little a special thank you to Garrett, who's drafting number 50 with Colton Joseph there. I believe he's in the Netherlands right now. And Jared, what was it that we saw earlier? Was it an 11-hour difference, he said?
Or no, he is currently it is 11 o'clock.
Okay.
His 11:15 his time.
That was it. So he's burning the midnight oils to join us here, and a pretty loyal subscriber of mine. So I like shouting him out there. He was always surprised I could actually say his name right whenever I would say it on the podcast. So a double tap there from Brandon on the end for 2 running backs, and that's not bad. I love DeRozier's. He's a guy that, if you're thinking Sutton Smith may not be 100%, like him at 51 could be a great land.
Great pick by Brian there with Elijah Surratt as well. I'm not looking at a lot of wide receivers here early on, but he was somebody that I was eyeing as it was coming back down. I was thinking, like, if he's there somehow at my pick, I was going to take him.
Garrett, I was hoping Smothers would slip to me. I didn't think it would happen. He was one of my 3, and he's one of my heart picks. I think Smothers' ceiling could be ridiculous, but his floor could be really low too.
I don't know. I'm just in kind of all the way on Smothers, and I feel like that it's such a fluid ADP when it comes to the underdog best balls right now. But like, I almost feel like there's no too early
John, you
time
are on the clock.
to select him. All right, I am jumping in,
Yep.
taking another running back, but
Luke,
I love basically bottom line there. I was filibustering,
What a
but I
great
love
what a great
Smothers
pick.
as well. But yeah,
Carson off the
who
board.
would
Dang.
you,
Parker, I feel
John?
good.
Who would you have rather have had, Parker or Jordan, right there?
It's tough. I think conventionally Parker might project a little bit better, but I think at the same time, like if Dampier is as nutso as a runner as we think he is and can be,
Hmm.
that could cannibalize Parker in a way that Smothers might not get cannibalized by CJ Bailey to that same extent. And I think you want either of those buckets. I think you want as much ACC and Big 12 as you can get this year, especially if you're looking at the Power Four type of conferences. So it's tricky. I'm gonna say I liked Parker better, obviously, but man, I would not have blinked about taking Smothers in that spot either.
Oh, sorry. What I was asking was Wayman Jordan, USC, who went one pick before you. Would you have taken him over Parker?
Oh, I'm a Parker guy.
Okay.
I'm a little bit worried that the market's a little bit hot on Wayman Jordan. I
I
think
could agree.
Eli Sanders finished the season really well last year. It wouldn't. I think that yeah, like at least on Underdog, there's like a 150 pick difference between the two. I think it's a little bit closer.
Not according to the beat reporters. The beat reporters are very hot on Jordan, and Sanders is battling out for that RB2 position with
Hmm.
Brad Jackson based on reports. Now that can change in the fall,
Yeah.
Yeah.
obviously, but
Oh,
again, just based on what
another
we've
guy I
seen
wanted to
here,
take.
like Jordan's the runaway favorite for that backfield right now.
I mean, the market definitely agrees with you. It's just he's a JUCO guy. Sanders at least played it at New Mexico last year, so I mean, I don't know. I just think it's a bit hasty to go that heavily into a JUCO guy, but obviously I can be wrong. And the beat writers, like you said, are singing a certain tune. But I'm gonna hold off on that particular competition at the moment with the way that the market's shaping up.
And Felix in the chat is appreciating what John's bringing to the table. Fresh voice that we don't always get to hear in our CFF space. So, part of why I wanted to make sure I had John on. I loved having him on the CFF Top Gun Challenge last December. A really fun thing I'm going to be doing every year where we compare preseason projections, see how everybody did, how accurate everybody was. I had a lot of fun doing it, and especially December's kind of a dead period for us. So, create something fun. Jared, you are getting ready to come on the clock, and I am getting right behind you. Jared, while you're preparing, I'm going to kind of look through the live chat and just see what other stuff I see here. Matty Ice, love the Parker pick. We had a lot of people just talking about how crazy it is, and like uh, they're liking the bidding system, but also just like the amount of dollars that are out there. You know, like how many people are going to land people with $1 in the first couple of weeks. Um, let's see here. One person mentioned never heard of passing. Brett mentioned never heard of passing completion points before. That's something that I do in my home league that I've been running forever. Just a point one for completions, and like it adds a little bit, but it's not a major amount. Jared, it looks like someone sniped Jared.
No, no, it wasn't a snipe. I kind of wish what happened to me last time happened to me this time, where just one of the guys I was looking at would be taken, and I
Hmm.
wouldn't have to really think about this pick too much because I want to take another running back, but there is a pretty insane value here at quarterback that I think I'm just gonna go ahead and load up and take. I'll take Avery Johnson.
Really? All right. I'm going to wait on quarterback here with this pick. I've been just watching this tier of running back shrink, and I'm going to shoot for someone who could have a big workload and a high ceiling, but I'm going to take some risk here. I am much higher on this guy than other people. I'm going to take Ducker from Temple.
Ooh,
Something feelings about that one, Jared?
I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of Ducker. He does follow Kesey Keeler from Sam Houston. I think this is definitely early. I think that's a running back you probably could have waited on because
Potentially, yeah.
I've seen him go undrafted in most of the 30 round drafts that we've done. And so you're talking about a guy that in this format, just doing the quick math off the top of my head, you're looking at 360 pick. So you're talking about like round 7. You probably would have been able to get him at.
Maybe. And
Uh,
where I looked and what I mentioned before, I'm not going to play the ADP game. I had 3 running
Right.
backs in the same tier that was drying up,
there,
and my
there's
3 guys, LJ Martin's one, worried a little about injuries. Jam Miller, probably the most solid guy, and he's still on the board. I do not expect him to make his way back. And then just Ducker, I figured has the higher upside. And once again, if you want to try and win the whole thing, why not take some risks and make ceiling plays? That's just I'm just taking that approach for today. And yeah, like ADP be damned is kind of my approach. And I hear what you're saying on that part, Jared.
well, the other thing is like as again, like you, Justin, Leo, like both very smart guys. Obviously, both of you around the same time really kind of got into Ducker,
Mm-hmm.
and I took my shot. I took a look to see the system there, in terms of what was coming in. Obviously, you're bringing in, I forget his name off the top of my head, but the former offensive coordinator from Montana State.
Mm-hmm.
That's the guy that put up 1,600 yards with Scotty Humphrey last year, right? Like that sounds incredible until you remember that they played 16 games, so that's already going to skew your is already going to skew your stuff like that. Two, Montana State was a dominant program in its conference, right? They're
Yep.
able to run the ball extremely well versus Temple is not, unfortunately. So you're not going to be able to count on them being able to just run the ball down people's throats as much. And then 3, like the volume's not really there. Like Scott Humphrey had an incredible year last year, but he only averaged, I think, like 100, like, or I think he only had like 150 carries in the regular season. Like it's not quite the volume pig that you would really want there to be. Now Ducker could come in and be instantly the best running back in this system,
He he
but
he
something
pi-
that
he was
does.
he was hands down by the end of spring. They said he is locked in running back 1, and I'm forgetting the name of running back 2, but like both those
Oh,
spots are just
Terrence,
locked up.
yeah, Terrence Worthy, right? Like, but that's
No,
another thing,
Worthy's
right?
running back 3.
Who's the second guy
I just
then?
can't remember. You know what? I could probably look it up if I'm smart.
But that also tells me this is something I bring up on this week's CTN episode a couple of
Jaquez
times.
Smith is the running back
Oh,
2.
Smith, I forgot Smith was still there. But this is something I bring up on CTN this week a little bit, where when you bring in a transfer, right, or like if a guy's clearly the number one guy, you would expect to see some of the guys behind him transfer out,
Hmm.
right? Because they think, okay, I'm not getting my opportunity anymore, especially if they think they're going to get less opportunity than what they got last year. We didn't see that at Temple. It's another thing I saw at Iowa State, right? If this was going to become the Carson Hansen show this year, why didn't Abu Sama leave? Right, if it truly was going to be Hansen was going to be the workhorse back and Sama's going to get less carries, Sama would have left in a heartbeat. That's just the nature of the game in college fantasy today, or not college fantasy, just college football today. And so I do think it's noteworthy that even though Ducker comes in and does sound like he is the best running back of that room, is he the best to the point where they're going to make him a workhorse or they're going to make him the number one guy of a 3 back committee?
The one thing I liked, and you mentioned the 16 games. When I do my projections, I break everything down on a per game basis because to me it's
Mm-hmm.
the only way that you can balance things out. I mean, think about the team that goes to the national championship versus a team that doesn't go to a bowl. How do you balance that out?
Yeah,
So I always
agreed.
start. I always start from that point on the per game basis. Um, and just and like you mentioned, okay, Temple's not going to be great. So like the efficiency stats, yards per carry. I actually even break down like touchdowns per carry. I batted those down, and I just still like the way Ducker came out. So that is a little one of those for me. I'm just going to bet on ceiling, and if I, like I said, we can make transactions. If I whiff, I whiff. I'm just willing to kind of do that and take some risks today.
Yeah,
And
oh, go ahead, John.
Yeah, go ahead.
And Joe, I will say, within minutes of meeting Jared in person a few weeks back, I took Jaden Ott, and he just looks right at me and he's like, "I don't like that pick." So,
Exactly, exactly.
I'm not
But I
afraid
agree.
to
But I agree with
say
Jared there.
I am
dang.
not
So
afraid.
I was coming at you with an olive
I
branch, and I
know,
get
I
ganged
know,
up on. Come on.
I know. It's
Yeah, again,
yeah. I'm
my
taking the what is it? Isn't it? Actually, I'll give away something article, and it might be Monday that I'm coming out with. But my player prop picks for underdog, and I believe I have Ott as taking the under for rushing yardage.
oh I created a spreadsheet for myself with underdog and everything, and his line got nuked from the start. So like yeah, I think they came out with like 824 was his line originally, and I think it's down now to like 699. that's right in line with my projection now.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to do an
So,
update before this weekend, right before it posts. So if I got to change anything because they've adjusted the lines.
hmm they have adjusted the lines for sure somewhat. So I would double check that before you
Yep.
post.
That's one of those things I know you got to do.
I again, as we're waiting on our picks here and everything, I guess we can't. Why not? I can throw out like what my projections say versus not on that if we want to talk about that for a second, because I still have, based on the current lines, I still have the under on both Jackson Arnold and Drew Aller quite a bit. Sawyer Robertson, I have the under on a bit, and let's see, passing yards. Yeah, I try to hit more unders than overs when it comes to underdog, mostly because again, like there's so much that can go wrong like in the season when hitting an
Yeah.
over, and they definitely want you to play those overs. That's why they put out intentionally low lines. But the moment somebody gets injured, your stuff's in jeopardy. But
Yeah.
one guy's over that I do like is wide receiver Cam Coleman out of Auburn. I've got him
Mhm.
projected for almost 300 more yards than what they're giving him there.
John,
So.
have you looked at the player props on Underdog? Like any takes that you have from that?
I haven't so much. I've more so just been grinding the best bowl mania
Mhm.
ones. So I think is Heath Boyd in this one. Him and
Right
I
off the
are,
top of my
are
head.
currently in in a couple of those best ball mania drafts right now, like like picking back to back, that type of thing. So that's fun. But I've yet to really dial in on the season long props. It's not a market that I get into so much, although in a state like Georgia where we're a little bit behind the curve. We don't have normal sports betting. That's kind of like the one way to scratch the itch. So I'm gonna have to take a look at those. And it seems like I need to do it now because these lines are moving around like crazy, it
Mhm.
seems like.
John, don't get me started on the backwards thinking of our state government in terms of the betting stuff, because I can understand if they just want to take a hard line against betting. That's totally fine. Why are they allowing parlays? Right? That's the most predatory form of
Yes.
gambling,
Yes.
Right.
and they're allowing that, but they won't let us just bet straight lines on players. Like it makes zero sense. Like apparently they somehow convinced the state government of like, oh well, it's a fantasy sport, it's not actually gambling. It's like, no, parlays are gambling, and not only that, they're the worst kind of
Yes.
gambling. So what the hell are you guys
But
doing?
My
I
my
mean, that's how those operators go, though. Like at the same time, like Prize Picks is here in Atlanta and
Yeah.
Underdog, and
Well,
it's like that's the
Oh, for
loophole.
sure.
Dylan Bender going with the three running back stack. Interesting
Again,
approach here.
they'll dry up at one point.
Yep.
Like
Exactly.
I don't necessarily blame him for that.
I'll tell you this much. What I've been upset with is actually Underdog themselves. I'm in the state of Indiana, and I go in the day that Underdog drafts start. Sorry, this is not available in the state of Indiana.
Oh,
I sent
Mm.
them an email with all of the state Senate and House laws that have been passed in Indiana regarding sports wagering. I then pointed out the exact section in every one of those bills that's carved out in Indiana that says paid fantasy sports is exempt from sports wagering because the Indiana views it as a game of skill. And I included the recent, I forget exactly what it is, but you can look up anyone that is a licensed paid fantasy provider in the state of Indiana. It shows the record of like when they applied for their licenses, when they got their temporary license, when they got their permanent license, and pointing out to Underdog, you are authorized as a paid fantasy provider in the state of Indiana. This is carved out as an exemption, and they refuse to respond to
that is.
That sucks, dude.
me. Yeah, like I can get it. I get it if I can't. I can see the player props. I just can't bet on them, and that's fine. That's a new thing I'm gonna be doing this year is weekly player props during the season and some preseason ones. But I'm just like I wanted to be doing a whole bunch of Underdog mock drafts, and I'm just like, thanks guys, thanks. I'm trying to run a business here.
Yeah, no, like it sharpens your axe, and like a lot of your audience, I'm sure, is doing that. So there's a lot of stuff going on governmentally. Like the Establish the Run guys kind of had like a really good podcast recently about Indiana, or I'm sorry, Illinois, bet tax in California and their whole
Taxes in
legislation
Illinois?
of
What are you talking about?
can you believe it?
I know.
Illinois of all states.
Of all
But
states.
they're like, oh, you want to bet? You want to place a losing bet? Well, you also have to pay us 50 cents just cause.
They literally the state created their own rake, is what they
It's
did.
yeah, it's
That's actually kind of insane. Like,
yes.
to have to pay a tax on a losing bet is pretty yeah. Dang.
That's what
Unrealized
I thought
gain
too.
is the way I view it.
Yeah, and then
The
there's that
most
too.
unrealized
Yes.
of gains.
And I'm like writing my congressman like he was due. He was due. He had it. But the weather was bad that week, and therefore he didn't hit his over.
Yeah.
Come on,
You know,
come on, Congresswoman.
and this is one of these things for everybody watching, guys. We're just going to be kind of chatting and having fun. I know a lot on Jared's show when he's doing his mock drafts. They're kind of breaking down each pick and talking about guys, and we'll kind of jump in and do that here and there. But kind of the whole idea with multiple people on the shows, we're just going to kind of have fun, talk college football, get to hear, like it was brought up in the chat. Not a lot of people know John or get to see him on things. John, you
Yeah.
do a lot of NFL fantasy stuff and podcasts, so it's just just getting some different voices out there and just I'm going to say shooting the stuff, since this is a family-friendly live show here on YouTube, and especially whenever Eric Froton gets available and dials in, we will definitely be shooting the stuff.
Oh, 100%.
Hmm.
I'm just afraid to talk players right now because again, like I'm like I have like the glimmer of hope. I see certain players and I'm like, oh wow, this is an actual possibility. I could get them in the third round. But and then I want to discuss that, but then I'm like, there's no way that if I mention him 20 picks ahead,
Yep.
that he's not going to be taken by somebody else, including you, Mr. Joseph.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I'm noticing that we're coming up, so I'm starting to scroll through and look at different guys and where I might want to go, and it's like, and I just because of how long these turns are, I'm just like we've seen some people do the triple running back stack and things like that, and I'm kind of feeling like, do I just need to take a more balanced approach in building my roster? Is one of those thoughts that I'm having right now. Um, like to me, that could be one thing, but also normal draft strategy. Like, do you also just follow the scarcity rule? Running back is going to become scarce. Do you try and gobble those guys up? Looks like we're starting to get a little bit of a run on quarterbacks, and we're moving quick. I am coming up
There we
right
go.
on the spot here. All
Yeah,
right,
this is awesome.
so
Joe, don't break my heart,
I
man.
might.
Don't go breaking my heart.
I couldn't if I tried.
This man gets it.
Dude, here's my hot take: 70s music better than 80s.
Just because
I'm
I
with
took a
you.
riskier pick with my first one, I'm gonna take a little safer pick here. Probably not breaking your heart.
Not breaking my heart. We're good. I'll break
It-
John's heart though.
Ah, there he is. And the thing is, like I can't apply this lesson to underdog drafts. Like it's just like you just got me on these fan tracks drafts. So alas, but
Decorium Moore that Joe C just took was one, like if I was gonna just, I'm gonna wait on quarterback a little bit. So I'm like, I see a lot of quarterbacks I like. I'm willing to wait, and so I'm like, okay, if I don't want to go with one of these running backs, like Decorium Moore was just screaming to me. Like once again, a high ceiling pick,
Hmm.
shoot for the moon, and that's actually my Tadpole Bowl draft is still slowly slugging along. Um, that's been one of the it's been an all offline draft, and that's been my approach to it is I'm gonna take risk and I'm gonna take ceiling picks. If you want to try and win the whole thing in the Tadpole Bowl, it's
Oh yeah.
purely just who scores the most points. Head to head
Yep.
matchups don't matter, nothing like that. So shoot for the ceiling. And I kind of feel like for this, there's a little bit of that because like especially as rounds get later on, like finding that guy who just could pop off could literally be, you get a guy in the seventh round who becomes a monster. That could be a
I
huge game changer in this format compared to a regular 12 team redraft.
I mean, yeah, obviously every players, like having one of those top guys is going to be all the more valuable as this league goes along, just because of the sheer size of it, right? But I would argue that you are still wanting to play it safe here, right? Because like you mentioned at the start of the show, Joe, you only need to be in the top 8 out of 13.
Yep.
So you're not asking to be the top 2, the top 4, or anything like that. You just need to beat 5 other guys in your division. And from there, it's all head to head. And head to head does ask for you to just play it safe more often than not, right? You just need to score. If you score a certain number of points, you're good. If you score 210 points and the other guy scores 250, you're just unlucky that week,
Yep.
right? Because 210 should be good enough to score and move on most weeks,
Let alone in this
right?
format, we have no clue what that point total, that
Oh,
target point total is going to
absolutely
be.
not. But if you in this league, like shoot, if you can get a 170 point team every single week, then you're probably feeling really good. All right, John, you're
Yeah.
you're coming up here. Oh, John, you took Marcel Reed.
Oh yeah,
What's that about?
I like
I
Marcel Reed,
did.
man. I
Uh,
like him.
I like it.
I, I wanted a quarterback. I wanted a quarterback with some rushing upside, and I could probably be accused of having SEC media days on a little bit too long in the office here this week. But I like the way that Elko talked about him. I I'm kind of digging just how much A&M brings back this year, and I love their additions in the portal. I know Jared, Georgia got one of their best receivers from last year, but they bring in Casey Concepcion. Mario Craver, I think, is an interesting guy as well. And those are two guys that we're not expecting like the most like high flying passing offense for A&M, but
No.
Reed's a beast. This is a guy that like politically speaking, I think A&M wanted Connor Wagman to be the guy last year, and it's like, no, it's actually Marcel Reed. And I think that does kind of speak volumes, and I'm excited to see what he does this year.
Yeah, I'm that same way. Like okay, we're not saying that these are going to be major fantasy wide receiver impact people, but they upgraded his targets, which is one
Yes.
thing. Number
Hmm.
two, yes, his passing lacked last year, but time under center, learning, going into year two as a starter. I look at the potential upside in the passing game because we know what he can do on the ground game. So if he can become even a little bit more balanced, he won't be balanced, but if he can become even a little bit more balanced, like that really does help him. And in my Tadpole Bowl, I've always avoided the top quarterbacks in drafts, and like I said, I was going to shoot for the moon and go upside. I drafted Lenore Sellers at 112, and then later on, I made Reed my QB2 to go with him,
Hmm.
just for that potential upside.
I mean,
Joe, something interesting that's kind of catching my eye here, as we go
I'm
through, like
MacGyver.
obviously we have the wide receiver, tight end, hybrid
Yep.
position here, and we are seeing guys like Joe Royer just came
Mm-hmm.
off. I saw, Elijah or
Claire.
Stowers, Sadiq came off in the second round and everything like that. How you do projections as well,
Mm-hmm.
so I will throw this out. My top tight end this year projected is John Michael Gillenborg. If he had the
Of
wide
course.
receiver position of yeah, what do you mean
I
of
know
course?
you're the head of his fan club. You probably does he have a restraining order on you yet? That's what I'm curious
Not
about.
not quite yet.
Okay,
We're working on that.
we're working on
But
it.
but if I were to take him and put him and rank him with my wide receivers,
Mhm.
he'd be wide receiver 100.
Yeah,
I think people here aren't quite fully grasping that all those tight ends got completely nerfed with the combination of the
they do.
positions here.
They do, but it also then helps us. That's the one thing I do like. It helps us just get more depth of like maybe you don't want to get a crummy wide receiver, but a reliable tight end. To be like
Oh
your
no,
third starter. And it's
they'll
so
be great in the second half of this draft.
yep. And so I agree with you. I literally just and that's the way we do my home league. We lump them together because we got sick of doing tight ends. But when you do that, and so I've got experience looking at it that way, like, yeah, they get nerfed and they get nerfed hard.
Hmm. It's very, very rare unless you get like a Michael Meyer or a Brock Bowers where they're outproducing most of the wide receivers anyway, or they're basically acting like extra receivers on their offense.
Aronde Gadsden. Yeah, exactly.
Ryan Ralph, yes, you're right, 100%. If after
Hmm.
wide receiver 99, Gillenborg is still there, hell yeah, I'm taking him. hell yeah, I'm taking him.
And that's one of the things I always liked about grouping the two together is that tight ends can be a pain in the butt. Like my home league is a redraft keeper league. Nobody's ever kept a tight end. I'm just gonna say that right now. No one's ever kept a tight end. We only get 4 keepers. But it's just one of those like, nobody ever kind of. It becomes more of a pain. You can lump them in. You don't have to do as much homework. But there's still those guys. Like if you want a steady Eddie, they're there.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, John, about lumping wide receivers and tight ends together in college fantasy football?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely creates like an interesting wrinkle in this particular format. We're seeing, tight ends go earlier than you're used to. Max Clare going in the third round in this one. I am on the clock. I'm looking for my first pass catching option, so I'm taking a look at this position here. Whew. All right, this is more of like me buying the system, and this is a offense that I worked on their projection, and it was a fruitful role a year ago. So I'm taking the Scud Missile himself, Scudero, from
I
San
like
Jose
that, the
State.
Scud missile.
The Scud
We're,
missile.
we're coming up with it right now on the fly. It's organic and it's beautiful.
It is beautiful. Yeah, like I'm starting to look at like my potential options of which position I want to go with, and it's like, like I said, I'm trying not to play the ADP game either. I don't know about you, Jared. Like if you're starting to look at that too, it's just like I kind of think the area I know I want to go in.
I mean, I'm just taking value right now. There's some guys that are kind of falling right now that
Hmm.
if they're there regardless of position and everything, I'm gonna take them. Like I got two running backs in my queue right now that if they're there, like I have no choice but to take them. Like the fact that I could get them this late is kind of insane to me.
Hmm.
And wide receiver is the most volatile position that we have here
Yeah.
with the tight ends gone. I'll play into that. I'll wait on wide receiver and just kind of grab some of the more concrete guys I'll rely on week to week. And we have flex positions in this, right, Joe?
No,
As part of
so
the start?
it is
No,
just
start.
purely quarterback, running back, and then the wide
Okay,
receiver tight end together.
gotcha.
I
Well,
wanted to
I'll
make I
I'll
wanted to make this league as simple for people to manage as possible. Because I mean, let's be
make
honest,
sense.
it's a big ass league.
By the way, Eric is saying that he is in the lobby, so we're ready to go there.
Oh, I see
Oh,
that now.
great pick. But and Rebel took my boy Elijah Green, but the good news is that actually made my pick easier. I'll take Lincoln Pear here out of Texas State. Give me the new Ishmael Mahdi.
All right, and Eric, if you can hear us, I'm going to make my pick and then make that switch over because I am really kind of debating what I want to do here. Ugh. Um,
The host dilemma, being on the clock with a guy in
I
the
know,
waiting room at the
and
same
you
time.
gotta do the tech stuff, and I'm like,
It's like
I will
in
I will just
NCAA,
giggle.
like the pressure meter is just going
it is,
bananas right now.
and we have 45-second clock. You know what? I said I'm going to shoot for ceiling. I'm going to do a reach. Poff.
Great pick. That's
Yeah,
not
hell
that's
yeah.
not a reach at all. That's a great pick right there.
No, I had plenty of guys ranked higher. I had 4 guys ranked higher, and one of them I knew I could wait on. 2 of them I knew I could wait on. Actually, yeah, Mayava was another one of those. I'm going to bring Eric in here, so hang on, everybody, while I kind of switch things around because I also got to get this. Things are going to look weird until Eric comes in on the screen, so hang in there, guys. Hold on.
Fro,
All right,
man
I.
himself.
Eric is sideways.
All right, hang on. So
In what
I
sense?
am.
I'm in, baby.
All right, I got Eric. I got him in. I'm switching over. We just don't have video for Froton, but we've at least see your.
What?
Oh man! All right, the
I got
names
that
are
video.
wrong. I'm gonna test
Almost.
this live on the fly, guys.
Hold on, let me shave off the rest here.
Yeah,
There we
yeah,
go.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
John McKechnie now.
Oh no,
Perfect.
wrong thing. All right.
There we go. I just had the mustache.
Boom, I'm in. I
Oh,
knew it.
There
you're
we
in.
go.
I'm having to do
I
a
knew it,
massive
Jared.
adjustment on my end here. Oh shoot, not that.
Eric, give me your best Jared impression.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's do this.
Eric, give me. Oh wow. On the spot
Immediately
with
the
that,
bench
right out
hero.
of the gate. Right out of the gate, you're giving me the Jared impressions. I don't know. I have a slight lisp. I guess I'll have to do that. That's the only thing I got.
That's
Okay.
that's
Jared,
swinging
I like
low.
you too
That's
much.
swinging low.
I don't know. I love Jared. I don't want to make fun of Jared. I want to draft my team.
Just talk about drafting John Michael Gillenborg too much, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah, there you
Excellent.
go.
We're in.
Yeah.
We're in.
So, Froton, I am going to, if I can find you real quickly here. I know you guys are seeing this on the screen while I'm trying to do it. Bear with me. So, Froton, right now, your team, and I'm not saying it in order, consists of running back Ba from Florida, wide receiver Ryan Williams from Bama, and wide receiver Caden Lee from Mississippi. And I don't know where you're picking, but I have a feeling that you're probably coming up.
He is at the
I'm coming up.
439. Yeah, there he goes.
There he goes.
I think if I may be so bold,
Please,
Joe,
no.
I'm going to join you on the golden ticket front. So if you don't mind,
the golden treats, the Steve Weisers.
Golden Bullets, I think it's called.
Is 547 local? Yeah,
Well-
it's treat time.
Well, I'm also a huge Jimmy Buffett. Okay, everyone who watches Diary of a Draft Man, I rock out. So I am a metalhead, but I'm also a parrot head, big time. I've traveled for Jimmy Buffett, so yeah, it's always 5 o'clock, dude. Just crack them.
Yeah, speaking my language. All right, back in like 1 minute. So I think you guys can handle it. Be right
I was
back.
going to say I've got now. Luckily, I've got the screen set up. We got the names of with the right people. Once Eric's able to come back in, we'll get him going there. I'm not sure exactly where he is, and if he tries to exit out, I'll be looking for it to bring him back in.
Knowing Eric, he's a very popular guy, and
I'm
there's
in.
absolutely
I'm
somebody
in.
who just walked in. There he is.
There he goes.
Oh, and there he goes.
No, I got to be around. Yeah, here it is.
There you go.
I'm getting
Yeah.
used to this. I'm getting used to the whole Zoom experience. Plus, I'm coming up soon, so I wanted to make sure I
Yeah.
had some kind of a cue set.
You
Well,
are.
you know when I'm on the clock. You're the
One,
commish.
two,
You can pick
four.
for me. I'm on my phone, so I might be able to
God,
assist.
I have to do that. Gee, okay, Eric does that in all these damn
Well, I
drafts.
don't
What the
have to
hell?
be in. I'm trying, guys.
How's Dallas, Eric?
Oh, we're rocking. You want a live shot?
I want a live shot. What are we looking at there?
All right, guys, we're going for a live shot at the 52-teamer here. You ready? There we are.
What's up,
yeah.
guys? I don't know if y'all
Look
can
at
see
that
me
band
waving.
of savages, huh? Some bad boys in this room. I will say this is probably, definitely out of the 4 drafts I did, the live drafts, this is the toughest room. This is a good room. Just slaying running backs on the board. You can see right behind me.
Oh yeah,
So-
there's a lot of red on that board back there.
Oh, a lot of red. The guys doing good work on the running back front.
all right,
Gotta
Eric.
give them respect.
Eric, you are on deck.
Okay.
And I'm sure you're going to ask me a bunch of names. I'm going to tell you they're all gone.
No, you're not. I already
Okay,
looked before. I know I want Julian Sand.
All right. Now we're just going to hope that
Super
Ralph doesn't
Saiyan.
take him. And I also
Ryan is listening to the show, Eric. Just letting you know. So
Delightful.
he absolutely could make that pick.
I
Hey Ben,
have
how you
picked
doing, man?
My proverbial hands now, haven't I? Oh, great work, Froton. Great work.
and the other part of it is I have to fumble my way through making the pick for you too. So all right, we've got that.
There it is. Is that me? Did I get him?
You're going
He's
to
picking him
get
now.
him. I just need to figure out how to do it on my end here.
Let's go. We have none other than Josh Chevalier here. Keying in
Hey
as well.
Josh, how you doing, man?
Hey,
Where's Ben Jacob? I know he's in that
There
room
we
too.
go.
Tell him to come over
Gotcha.
there.
Oh, wait, we're asking for Ben Jacob now? Ben Jacob has been requested. Ben Jacob.
All right, so everyone, if you do not know, Eric Froton, he is a member of NBC Sports. He is also a member of the FantasyPoints.com team. And as you are learning, if this is your first time meeting him, he is very
Ben
entertaining.
Jacob. You want Ben Jacob? You get Ben Jacob here at the Austin Tadpole Bowl.
Nice to meet you,
Attaboy,
Ben.
Ben.
hey, he's got his Baylor shirt on. This is great.
Ben is taller than us, Jared. Are you aware of this?
Is he really? How tall are you,
He's taller
Ben?
than us. Here, check it out. Ben, show him. He's got me.
Oh my God, he's got
He's
you by
got
a
me.
good bit. Jeez.
He's got me like 2 inches.
Yeah, for those
He's
of
a
you,
basketball player too.
and for those of you that don't know, Jared's pretty tall too. Like you may not guess it when you just see his little head here on the screen, but like Jared's pretty tall. When I met him last year at the
Jared's
fantasy football,
huge.
when I met him at the fantasy football expo, I was like, oh shit, I thought he'd be like Josh's height.
All right.
Yeah,
Shots
when
fired
I
at
met
Josh
Jared, I was
Chevalier.
like, dang,
Shots
he
have
is
been
taller
fired
than I
at
thought.
Chevalier. Wow. Josh, they're coming for you on this telecast, buddy. I'm just saying. You
He's
might
gonna
have to
think
come
that
in
we're
here
gonna
and have
say
a
we're saying
discussion.
something smart like his fantasy takes or something like that. Now we're just calling him short.
Oh, he's coming.
I loved it. I
I'm
met.
giving him an earbud. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I was in Austin and for actually one of my wife's
Toss
work
it in.
conferences, and I was just like, hey Josh, yeah, let's go grab
Here.
some beers, and got to meet him there.
Here, come hang out.
Yeah, we got
All
Josh
right,
Chevalier,
we
also
got
from the
4 guests
Fantasy
here now.
Points
This is
team
great.
Oh
here.
my goodness.
And if do you guys want to go for the trifecta? We get Bacon in there for the whole Fantasy Points team.
He just left.
Ah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
shout
don't think
out
about
to Fantasy
driving and
Points.
drafting at the same time.
So shout out to Fantasy Points, all of you guys that have not heard of them, fantasypoints.com. They got an amazing team. You got 2 of their most entertaining gentlemen here on the
That's
screen.
right.
How are you guys doing?
Doing better, doing good. Yeah, we're having a good tadpole draft. What do you think? That's right. Yeah, it's a great barbecue.
Yeah, Eric,
We
you'll have
we
to
cannot
relay.
hear
You'll have
Josh,
to
by
relay
the
what
way.
Josh says because your mic doesn't pick him up.
Oh, my mic doesn't pick up Josh?
Yeah.
No, unfortunately not.
Oh, it's only me. Well,
All
I was
right.
telling y'all, Froton got from Austin Brisket last night at a place called
Nice.
Black's.
Oh, nice.
Famous place here in town. But now I'm just enjoying the tadpole bowl. How's the Elite 52 teamer going?
It is going funky. We are in round 5. We are 1 hour and 6 minutes exactly into this, so we still got at least another hour to go.
And that's 250 players so far?
It
Yep.
is. I scrolled here. Sorry for everyone watching. We're doing 12 rounds, 52 teams. But we're going to do 2 to 2. There he is. There's Bacon Field, the baldy beauty in the background.
Man himself.
There. That's the bacon, man.
Yeah,
That's the bacon man.
he's sizzling in the background.
Sizzling. They said you're sizzling. Bacon jokes.
Bacon jokes, yeah. So yeah,
All right,
we're doing 12 rounds, but we're only going to take it about 2 to 2.5 hours live, and then we're going to go slow draft offline after that.
Oh, there we go. Oh, that sounds exciting. Y'all have fun. Man, blazing a new trail in college fantasy football, this type of format. So I'm excited
Dude.
for you guys doing that.
Oh
A
yeah.
lot of huge leagues starting up this year.
Dang, I got
Yeah.
cooked in the chat for the Marcel Reed pick. I had no idea. Dang.
No,
Who cooked you in the
come
chat?
on.
Oh, yeah, Todd telling you that Marcel Reed's going to lose his job. Here's my thing. I discussed this with Chris Moxley on CTN
Yeah.
recently, where if Reed was in danger of losing his job, I felt like he would have lost it already last year, right? Like if Miles
That's a good
O'Neal was
point.
legitimately a threat to him, their biggest game of the year was against Texas, and that offense wasn't getting anything going. If O'Neal was really going to be the guy that would kind of take that offense to another level, we would have saw him last year. Right. So I think
Yeah.
Reed's job's completely safe. It's just a matter of, is he a best ball option or is he somebody you can rely on week to week?
Yep.
John, you're going to find out very quickly if you're going to be able to rely on him week to week.
I sure am.
John,
I'm
I
thinking
told
so.
you I drafted him as my quarterback 2 in the Tadpole Bowl. Like I'm right there in the same corner as you. Like I'm waiting for that year 2. I'm gonna call it year 1.5 leap. He didn't start the whole year. You know,
Mhm.
like I'm gonna wait for that leap and just be like, you know what? Like all he's got to do is cut down on some interceptions, get a little more touchdowns, and a little better yards per attempt. Like it's not that much for him to improve in the passing game. And now you get a whole year of him running around, especially on mush puppy opponents. Fuck yeah. Excuse me. The Steve Weiser's coming through. Hell yeah.
All
Darn
right,
tootin'.
Eric just took Terrian Stewart out of Virginia Tech. When he comes back on
Oh,
here,
I
I'll
had
be
him on
interested to
on
hear
my
talk
top
about
of my
that.
queue. So he's a guy that like I loved like the COVID year Maction, and I can't believe he's still around, but we're pulling for him.
All right.
Sorry,
So
boys.
Eric Froton, we
I
want
had
to
quick
hear.
out to make the pick. I was on the clock. I'm like, I got to pick the pick.
Well,
No, you're good. We want to
hear.
hear you talk about Stewart.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Well, obviously you got Cam Selden there as well with Stewart, but in
Selden's
the
playing
film work
receiver.
I did,
Selden is moved to receiver.
in my film work, I like Terry and Stewart. I think he's the best guy in that backfield. I think he'll probably end up getting the lion's share. And as we saw with Bishal Tootin when he was healthy last year, he was very productive. So I feel like at this point in a 52-team league, where it's the 5th round, I already have 2 wide receivers and a quarterback. I feel like I'm actually like a little fortunate to be able to take Terry and Stewart, somebody who I project to get the lion's share of RB1 carries, considering It's round 5, and what did you say? We have 250 guys off the board, maybe 260 at that point.
Yeah.
Fine, I'm comfortable with that.
It's been a while since I watched Bud Elliott Summer School, but I think it might have been where I thought I saw it. I think they were calling that he probably would be the main running back, not so much of a running back 1A 1B. I might be mistaken, but like I like Stewart too. I like Bennett. I think is probably going to end up being that running back too, with Selden being moved over like into kind of a slot hybrid position.
Yeah, based on what I was reading out of the spring, they're expecting more of a split this year, obviously compared to what they gave Tootin last year,
Yeah,
and you know
sure.
that, a lot of that had to do with, like, you know, Tootin didn't get the lion's share year 1, year 2 is where he really got that lion's share, which is what we see from a lot of these guys that transfer up from the FCS or the G5 to the Power 4. It usually takes them 2 years to kind of get there, but we're going to find out real quick in the fall because Terry Stewart wasn't there during the spring. They didn't get to have their eyes on him. So right now, everything is just on paper. On paper, they think this is going to be more of a split. Stewart could come in and just wreck things in the fall. And, you know, we're quickly looking at a very cheap workhorse back in a format like this.
Yeah, and for
he's 27, so he better get it going.
Yeah, but like for these Tadpole Bowl drafts, like I like Stewart, targeting him later on. Like he's one of those guys that there's a lot of question marks in that backfield from the outside looking in. But I think a lot of us, once we start really examining it, like you're talking about, Jared, like it's not going to be the same workhorse we saw with Tootin, but like it's still not going to be bad.
All right, Joe, we're coming up here. What are you kind of looking at here?
You want me to say? I am, just because there's a lot. I'm high. I'm this way every year. I'm high on a lot of wide receivers that other people aren't, but it's usually because new guys stepping into new roles, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
And I took my risk on Poffenbarger, so I'm like, and also too McAllister, who it might be a race between McAllister and Messer, who leads the country in receptions. So, and it's right on me. Okay, so my running backs, I'm gonna go with the guy. I'm gonna stick at running back here, and try and get a little more depth. Go with Cooley from Troy. Once again, to play the system game.
I'm probably gonna take my first pass catcher here, and there's a lot of guys that I still like that are on the board. So part of me is kind of tempted to take a 4th running back here and just lock up that position for me early on here. But I think I'm being forced to take a wide receiver here. So I'll probably go with Deuce Robinson out of Florida State. I think he's a perfect fit for that Gus Malzahn system there. He loves big targets on the outside there. Thomas Castellanos, as Eric will be happy to point out to everybody, not the greatest passer in the world. So what do you do with a guy like that? You give him a 6'6" huge target on the outside that he can throw jump balls down the sideline all day long. I think Robinson is just underrated in general, and I think he'll be great.
So I'm going to do a quick review for everybody watching right now because we're a little over halfway through. We're a little over halfway through. Yeah. The roster limits on all these positions is 2 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 6 receivers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like you, Jared. Like I got my 3 running backs now. I could sit back and wait.
I can sit back and wait and just kind of see what falls, because I got 2 running backs in my queues, and I'm just kind of curious to see how far they fall. I'll add 3. I'll add 4 now. Like, again, there's a lot of major upside guys that I could probably just wait on and see, if they work out, great. If not, easy cut week 1 or 2 for whoever's coming up on the waiver wire.
I have an opinion on Deuce Robinson.
Let me hear it.
He stinks. That's my opinion.
Counterpoint. Terrible.
Counterpoint. He's good, Froton.
Counterpoint. I was at more USC games in person than just about anybody on earth that isn't with the program. I got sick and tired of watching him run just skinny posts within the 20-yard line. It's the only thing Lincoln Riley would allow him to do. They didn't trust him on the outside. He couldn't win those one-on-one balls in the outside position. All they could do is have him go and, essentially jump over a small 5'10" safety in the middle of the field within 20 yards of the goal line. That's all he did. They didn't trust him. It was obviously Jacoby Lane, who's getting literally every single jump ball in the corner. He's no good. And he's got Castellanos, who is the worst quarterback in the Power 4 throwing to him.
So,
in fact, he isn't going to throw. He's going to run the whole time.
all right, Eric
No
and John.
need to take any of those running back. Any of those wide receivers.
Eric and
Terrible
John.
pick, Jared.
Eric and John are old enough to know this movie reference. I'm sure it's going to go over Jared's head. But necessary roughness, one of my favorite football quotes of all time. He throws like Edward Scissorhands.
Robert Loggia. Love Robert Loggia. That's a good old. Remember they had, what was it? Family Guy had a good Robert Loggia routine.
As in Robert Loggia.
Okay, actually, you know what?
Oh, thank you, John.
Oh my God!
You.
So Family Guy. There is a tight end with the last name Twitty at Virginia, who I kind of like as a deep sleeper. And every time I'm like loading him into my rankings, I go Conway Twitty.
Conway Twitty, absolutely, absolutely.
Dude.
Do not to besmirch the good name of Conway Twitty.
Yeah,
It
I'm
is
going to say
kinda surprising.
this Brunson pick, Miami of Ohio running back here at the end by Brandon, 5th round, like that. I think that's some good value, and even Nolan Ray by John. We didn't discuss John's pick there. Nolan Ray's a good value pick here as well in round 5.
Oh, Nolan Ray's a great pick.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He would have been, in terms of what's left, absolutely at the top. Because look, now you have question marks going right after Ray. All these guys are basically perceived backups. I mean, maybe Turner
or split backfields.
I'm a Darrell Robinson guy. To be fair, I love Darrell Robinson. So
I'm pushing for Alston.
I know.
My
I get
gut
it.
tells me he's probably running back 1A.
I'll comment on Ray
my
momentarily. I gotta lock in here, fellas.
John's
clock,
great.
so
I love drafting with
let-
John. He's got to lock in 3 or 4 picks ahead of his pick just to make sure he's ready.
Let's let John
I do.
talk it out, John. Talk it out for us.
Oh, crikey. Folks, what are we doing here?
Crikey.
Oh boy. I'm doing a great job of streaming and all of this. You know what? I'm just going to get whom I think is going to be the number one option in a pretty pass-happy offense. And like I said earlier, I want some Big 12 and I want some ACC. Give me Kenny Johnson.
I like that
You
pick.
made Eric happy with that
love
pick.
Kenny Johnson.
Yes, I like that pick.
Oh, I like him a lot. I got a lot of Kenny Johnson shares so far.
Yeah, big fan. I'm looking at week 11 being a bit of a problem for me, but you know what? That sounds like a week 11 problem. So we're just gonna dance on, and beyond that, getting Nolan Ray, I think that last year nothing went the way that Maryland would have liked, and Roman Hemby didn't quite have the season that they wanted, but I think getting Washington in there is going to kind of change that offense. And I do like Nolan Ray. I think Maryland's pretty stoked on him, so I think he's going to be ready to rock too.
I think mine with Hemby, even though I was kind of underwhelmed by his overall performance, other than his prop unders were just beautiful, beautiful things for 2 straight years. But they throw a lot of passes on the backfields, and if you could get Ray where...
Sorry. I thought you were talking about Indiana.
Continue.
You're talking about Maryland. Continue.
But yeah, Maryland, I mean, that's really what Hemby's core competency was he was a very effective receiver out of the backfield. And, I mean, hey, if Ray... Hemby's gone. If he's going to get all those carries and all that share, then I would think they would be relying on him quite heavily. Great deal at this point.
All right, Jared, you got 2 picks in front of you. My friend Rebel Nut sitting right in front of you. He is a long-time member in my home league. Long-time member of my home league. I've been playing with him for over a decade.
Oh, dude, he's from your home league, Joe?
He's in my home league.
That's how we got our boy Rebel Nut into the whole CFF sphere. Good. He's a long-timer. Yep. Real deal, Rebel Nut. Real one.
Love you, Rebel. All right, Jared, I know where I'm going, and I know you're not going to take my guy.
Yeah, I'm once again looking at running back here, and I only got 1 left, so I think I'm just going to wait, kind of see what falls to me on the back end here. So that kind of forces me to take a wide receiver. But, man, all these guys feel so samey in this range for me, just all different levels of risk. We'll bet on the system. We'll go Malik Phillips out of Sam Houston. John, you wanted me to talk Sam Houston at one point here today, so
darn right.
Hey, Jared,
the listeners need it
here.
So, Jared, I'm going to let you talk about Sam Houston once I get done with my pick.
I see how this goes, Joe.
Exactly.
I see.
And so
we've got a Sam Houston fan here.
Hell yeah.
This is Sam Houston right here, fan. You
All right.
want Sam Houston? We got it, Jared. All on you.
So
There you go.
Jared, I'm gonna agree with you. Wide receiver, it looks a little icky. You can wait. I've seen a couple of people do this approach right now, and I'm just gonna lock down my whole quarterback position with two good guys. I'm taking Brandon Lewis. I got no bye week coverage. My quarterback is done. Go ahead, talk to us about what you like about Phillips and the Sam Houston offense.
Yeah, I mean, Phil Longo's going to get that going year one. The whole experiment with Phil Longo at Cincinnati just didn't work out. He and Luke Fickell butted heads way too much. Again, I bring up the quote all the time because it's just coaching malpractice in my mind, where Fickell was saying like, oh, if we get Will Pauling, 80 plus targets again, that means we're not doing our job. Meanwhile, that's all Phil Longo wants to do. He wants to find the top wide receiver and just feed the ball over to him over and over again. He wants to pass the ball. He wants to get stats up for his guys. He's now going to Sam Houston, where he was offensive coordinator before. He loves this school, loves this program. He'll get to run the show exactly how he wants, and that means a slot receiver more than likely is getting fed. Now, I'm a little worried about Quavez Humphrey, who I assume will be coming off the board at some point here soon, because I actually think Quavez Humphrey is the better wide receiver, but he mostly plays on the outside.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the slot is, by default, typically the guy that gets fed in Longo's system, but we have seen outside guys get fed before, guys like Josh Downs, guys like DK Metcalf before he made his switch and stuff like that. So if the talent is warranted, Longo will move the offense towards Humphreys. Problem with Humphreys, he had near 20% drop rate last year. He caught under just over 40% of his balls. It was pretty rough. He's got the upside, but he's got some things to really clean up if he's going to be that potential wide receiver one for Sam Houston. So I'll take the safer pick with Malik Phillips.
So did he have like the same like role that like was he a 40% catch guy out of the slot?
No,
that's like unplayable.
Humphreys never played in the slot. He played on the outside. Malik Phillips is kind of the safer guy.
Got it.
And my one take is if there's a great offense to just target multiple people for value late in drafts, it is that Sam Houston offense. There are tons of guys I like to just take shots on. I do believe they're a 3-bye week team. Some people make a bigger issue about that than others, but when it's a late round pick, who cares? Is my attitude. You're not drafting him as one of your top guys, so just who cares? If the guy makes if you're setting a lineup, and a Sam Houston guy makes your lineup half the time in a late round draft, you've got more than your value worth. So who cares? Yeah. And I do want to throw this. I want to throw this out here. So Brett is a regular on my channel. I appreciate all the comments, man. I haven't seen a lot of questions. I'm trying to watch a lot of things here, but just want to throw out a compliment to Brett, man. You're a real loyal watcher. I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Salute, Brett.
Oh yeah.
Is that Brett Palmgren?
Yeah, Panye.
Yeah, I didn't even attempt
is a real one.
I did not even attempt to try and pronounce that last name.
Brett's the man, absolutely. Real one. Oh, and we got our boy Baconfield coming up soon.
Is he going to actually make it? I don't know if he's making the.
Oh, no, you're right. When? I'm going. I'm up, huh?
Yeah.
Up.
Yeah, Froton
I'm coming up. All right, hold on.
Shout out to Brett's team, the Muck Dogs. hope they win their league this year, Brett.
Lord Overton. Okay, Lord Overton's another loyal subscriber of mine. Probably the most faithful person. I throw out a mailbag post every week for submitting questions for my Sunday podcast. He is the most loyal person submitting questions. Thank you. I appreciate it, Lord Overton.
I just realized I made a horrible mistake drafting both Deuce Robinson and Malik Phillips outside of Eric's issue with Deuce Robinson. They both have the exact same bye weeks. Oops.
Both of them.
Both of them.
I think we're all going to get caught with bye week problems with this. It's just bound to happen. We're going to draft talent, and then with the auction and being able to make transitions, we're going to have to try and make tweaks.
No, I think so as well. And like the running back I'm looking at is the same bye week as two of my other running backs, and part of me is just like, okay, but like, am I really going to find a better option at that position?
And that's exactly it. Yeah, I have one bye week overlap in my 3 running backs, but when you're looking at those guys, it's like, yeah, but let me go down 20 spots in my rankings to get rid of all those bye weeks.
My favorite part about Brett Pawnee's comments right now is I think it's pretty clear he's back about 15, 20 minutes in the stream. And so like it's gonna be fun when he finally gets to the part of us talking about him.
Oh, it's
Appreciate you, Brett. Thank you, brother.
All right. Dang, Hunter Watson came off the board. I didn't even see that. That would have been a nice stack to get with
Yeah, he
Malik
came on
Phillips
right
there.
before me. Yeah.
Well, and that's what I mentioned, like stacks. I think stacks and handcuffing rooms is a great strategy for this, but with so many picks in between, it might be too hard to do. But that has
Oh,
been
for sure.
that's been a huge part of my second half of the Tadpole Bowl
I
strategy.
was going to go him or
Locking
Nixon.
up those handcuffs and
One or
locking
two.
up stacks.
Because I mean, how many do we have at this point? I was right there. I was deciding between Jaden Nixon and Nate Palmer there, and obviously Nixon went like 5 picks after me. I think that's a great selection by DHA. I don't know. You know who it is. That was an auto pick. That was a great one.
It's fun. It's fun looking at these names.
I know. Well, and that's the other thing too. So when I put together this league and I'm sending out the invitations, I have to put the names that I see on my website in there. Then once people go in and they accept their golden ticket, like they can go in and change their name. Some people just never change them, you know.
Yeah.
But it's one of those too. Like this is the only league I'm listed as Joe Arpasi, not Purple Rain. I'm always doing Purple Rain in those. And all 4 of us, we have our normal names. Eric likes to have his little hidden name that he does in these leagues. Oh, we got some bacon. Yep, there
What's
it
up,
is.
Elliot?
There it is.
I
He's
don't know if he
showing
can
it
hear
off.
us. He's probably
Eric is showing it off there.
Yeah, Elliot doesn't realize that he's on the screen. So we're gonna. Here you go. Your turn.
Welcome, Eric.
You got the mic. They can't hear me.
Yeah, Bacon. Welcome once again to the Let Purple Rain podcast.
He doesn't have the mic,
opinions.
Eric.
Yeah,
He doesn't have the mic. I
Nope.
gave him. All right, I gotta give him both. To Eric's ear.
That probably
Proton
would
always
work.
knows how to have the mic still.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bacon.
Sal!
Bacon whispering sweet nothings into Eric's ear.
Oh, brutal run of running backs right there for me. Oh, God.
Dear heavens.
Another thing with this league, just to point this out, so a lot of these guys that you will normally find in fan tracks are like, oh, here's a running back at receiver.
I'm trying to pick the foot you want.
No, I don't do that. I frickin' fixed them. You're going to find guys at their appropriate positions in this league.
I love it. Just airtight.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, where are you picking, man?
You're gonna have to wait and see. I've got the mic still.
All right. Well, Bacon. So Bacon, for people that don't know who are listening right now, you've seen Bacon on my podcast once before. He has his own website and he's recently joined the Fantasy Points team. Bacon, how is your Tadpole Bowl draft going?
My Tadpole Bowl draft is going significantly better than my 52-teamer draft is going.
Well, talk to us about the 52-teamer then. What do you not like about it?
Hold on. Are you actually making any of those picks, or are they mostly going auto? That's what I'm curious about.
So, no, I'm making my picks, except
Okay.
for the Kanye Udo is an auto. That one I was pretty disappointed in getting there.
Oh,
Hopefully, I can get one of 3 guys here on the next 7 picks, but we'll see.
Gotcha.
We'll definitely see. Well, I mean, I got 14 picks until my next pick.
I know how I'm set up, and part of what I liked about my strategy of getting that second quarterback and just nailing down that position. I only got 1 running back left. I've nailed down quarterback. I know where my focus is. I am like in cruise control, just looking at one position for a while.
I think you and I will be in the same boat here pretty soon,
Yep.
Joe, because like
A lot of teams I think will be.
because again, I'm kind of looking at like quarterback quickly drying up. I think for the most part. Again, like you have some guys that feel like floor plays, but if you're feeling like you're going to try to hit some ceilings here, I think you're running out of those options pretty quickly.
Yep, that's why I jumped on Brandon Lewis. I got 2, and also Poffenbarger. There's some risk there. He may not win the job, and I didn't handcuff that one position, which I could have done later on.
I mean, I'll just go ahead and say it. I was considering taking Messemaker here as my second quarterback, and then just dropping him week 1 if he's not the guy.
Which is going
Right.
to probably happen at some point in this draft. That's just kind of the fun of it.
Yeah. Or Elliot's about to take him here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
definitely
it.
know
I'll
that you
see you
said
back
it.
Yeah, Bacon, you're up.
Pass on him.
You're up in a pick here. What you
Yeah.
thinking?
I'm definitely going to go quarterback here, and but it's probably not going to be Nestle here.
Oh yeah. So okay. So did you make the Sellers pick? Because
I
we
did.
were commenting before, like what?
This very
the best first round pick maybe at 24.
So I did have him queued up, and so I would have taken him, and he happened to be at the top of my queue. So did an auto pick from the queue, yes, but I had him there. So
So still your pick.
yeah. Udo was not. I like Udo, but unfortunately, not where I would have taken him.
No,
We got Tony Calandria coming off the board here.
a good
Yeah.
pick.
I love that. That guy. I talked to you on your pod last year, Jared, about him. Obviously, he's no longer at Virginia, so it's like maybe it didn't pan out quite as well as I hoped. But I like that. I like that guy's chutzpah a lot. I think it plays in Vegas, and he can throw a ball better than Orgy, right?
Maybe a better coach who can work on the finer points of the QB play too. That's another thing that I think is getting overlooked.
Being with Mullen is
I'm
big.
further down on Calandria than a lot of other people. Something tells me that UNLV offense won't be as good as we maybe want it to be in year one, but year two is probably definitely there.
Yeah, it could be a green banana situation. John, I will say it was hilarious listening to the G5 Hive podcast. By the way, shout out G5 Hive.
Yes.
Both of our friends at G5 Hive. Cheers.
And then on the UNLV episode, they're talking about the differences between like Alex Orgy and like Calandria and like how they act on the field, and it's just night and day. Like Orgy's like all business versus Calandria is
Michigan man.
Like borderline picking a fight with half his team the entire time, like trash talking them and stuff like that. And they were just like, it's a night and day difference between the two.
I'm going to tell you this, former college football player. I only played Division III football, but fights are a big part of it. I showed up my freshman year. I played strong safety, and our starting left tackle, he liked to do cheap shots in the back when you're standing by the pile after the whistle in practice.
You had to let him know what's up.
Starting left tackle, I pick a fight with him first, like I think second day of pads, and all the new coaches are going. So I grew up in Seattle, but I've been in the Midwest since college, and I went out to Ohio to play football there in what is the SEC of Division III, and I'm sure all the coaches are going, What's the Seattle kid picking a fight with Bob for? like this kid's crazy.
You kind of want that crazy moniker,
though. You need a bit of that.
A little bit, yeah.
You need some cojones, just like a Major League 2. You need those cojones.
That is correct. Calandria, like he has like a bit of that, but also like the classic like 90s movie like bully, like the guy that picks on the protagonist kind of aura to him. I don't know. There's something to I dig it. He's like a jerk lacrosse guy that plays football. It's awesome.
We now have confirmation, by the way, that Brett Ponyi is about 10 minutes behind in the stream.
Okay. So here's what I'm. So Jared and I are both about to pick. I mentioned I'm pretty much locked into one position. I'm kind of surprised he slipped. Maybe not the highest ceiling, but I'm going to take Fields out of Notre Dame.
Yeah, there you go. I'll go ahead and take quarterback. I'll lock that position up as well. I'm going to take Connor Weekman out of Houston. I'll take 2 Big 12 quarterbacks as my core for my team here.
And a great conference to get quarterbacks out of.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And again, like both dual threat guys in that conference, I'm liking it. I'm liking it quite a bit.
Man, so part of the fun, and I mentioned this a lot on my Sunday podcast, my new Sunday podcast, but like for people to submit questions, I go like, don't just make it about football, make it about anything. I love movies. Hey. We're already quoting. I've quoted Necessary Roughness, Major League 2, and I'm going to circle all the way back to the Alex Orgy talk. There's another quarterback that deserves throws the ball like Edward Scissorhands moniker.
There you go. Elliot, I don't know if you can hear us, but appreciate you jumping on, Elliot.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Back, baby.
Eric is back.
See, that's the good thing about doing when I'm in the Tadpole Bowl. We can get some other people in.
Yeah.
Maybe we can even get Josh Chevalier.
Eric, do you approve more of my Connor Weekman pick there?
Major upside for Connor Weekman. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's upside, especially this time of the draft. I didn't see exactly who else is on there. Is this our draft or that there? It's our draft. Okay. Sorry, trying to figure it out.
That's where you
No,
need like a
no
laptop
problem
and a
with
tablet,
humidity.
one with each
No
draft.
problems. I will say it's hot here in Texas. My
Oh,
California
it's-
hair isn't built for this life.
No,
Yeah,
it is
you
not.
guys don't have that humidity that we have in other
Guys.
parts of the country.
Boy, man, it's 70 degrees all the time in San Diego. I don't deal with heat.
No, no.
We're in the 70s. We don't get above that
Oh no,
very
I
often.
was looking at we have a guest coming to stay at the place later next week, and we're looking at my wife and I are looking at the days that we might take her out on the boat. And it's like, okay, here's the day that we want to do, and it goes uncomfortably hot humidity. I'm like, great.
No, you know it's going to be a good day in the South when you're wearing your glasses and you walk outside
Yep,
and suddenly
yes,
it's just fog.
Yep.
And you're like, yes.
My mom lives in Houston. It's like you cannot not have one of the windshield shade things in the car. Like
No.
you'll just melt your hands if you don't
Yeah.
have that.
Just like a safety
I will
hazard.
say
Yeah.
this. Every state, especially in the South, will always say like, no, we got the worst heat. I
Mhm.
will give Florida people this. Florida heat is just different.
South Florida.
It gets so hot down there, especially with the salty air. Like it's sticky. It is the most uncomfortable air to possibly be in my mind.
Ooh, I like the Jalen Lloyd pick. I was praying that was going to be my next guy. Dang, I'm a big fan of Jalen
Ooh,
Lloyd right
love
now.
the chroma pick there by Brian.
Why not?
Yeah, that's strong. I got him in Tadpole, I think, if I remember right.
Another guy I want to shout out, Scott here at SD134331. Cedric Bailey's a guy I'm kind of really high on for like potential
Sure.
big upside guy.
Oh yeah.
And I love the stack. I've been a big Noah Rogers drafter. I've been grabbing him a ton, especially in Tadpole Bowls, or I should say Power 4 only bowls. I love that stack. Getting those two guys, of if they hit, like they hit together.
And he's got just a lot of ACC, which is nice. And like Lewis Bond, we have projected for like a crazy target share. So like it might not be beautiful targets, but like got a lot of them.
Yeah,
There's
Bond's a
opportunity.
tough guy because you want to project a lot of targets, but you also want to try and keep it like you run an initial projection, then sometimes you go, whoa, I need to tamper this down, and that's the way
Yeah.
Bond's been for 2 years for me.
Dang! Oh, Burley auto picked them too. Dead gummit! I really wanted Ford
You're
there.
Ford.
I wanted Ford there. That's unfortunate, but is what it is.
All right, John's up. John, what you thinking?
Right. All right. I'm gonna go a little bit off the beaten path here potentially, but my guy Chris Benzine was kind of singing this guy's praises recently. Give me Giovanni Gibson for
Mhm.
Oklahoma.
I like it.
Giovanni Gibson.
He's out of the boot. He's out of the boot.
He's out the
That's
boot,
right.
folks.
Yep. And you know how I know that, John?
Rotowire.com.
I saw on Rotowire's player news.
Unbelievable.
I like
those
the
guys.
Okay, Dane Miller. I like the Galloway pick, even though it's an auto pick. Galloway, he was kind of hurt. He's came out of spring as the like 1B or the tight end 2, but like any guy that has the big potential to be that next awesome Tino at Middle Tennessee, like Galloway's the guy to bet on, but there's still a lot of risk in that bet.
I don't like any tight end picks at this point. We haven't
I
reached
can agree.
wide receiver 100 yet for me.
I
Eric, you missed
like
it
it.
earlier, but I did the math and I looked at my projections, and like I don't think any tight end should have come off the board here with the positions combined until we were 100 wide receivers deep. They're just that nerfed when you put them together like that.
Oof. Just looking at all this.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you you're wrong.
Especially
I
in
don't
a year
know.
like this where you don't got a Brock Bowers, you don't got a Michael Meyer.
Mhm.
Like which
I will
one
say-
which tight end are you comfortably
Well, and-
saying
and-
hits 1,000 yards
Sadiq.
this year?
Well, and
Sadiq,
even,
oh,
and
no,
even
1,000
Sadiq,
yards.
and
Yeah.
even Sadiq has his
Sadiq
question
could be
marks.
good. Yeah, sure. It's not like he's coming in off of 800 last year or anything. No, he's
Well, and with a brand new quarterback that, I still kind of have questions. I'm down on the Oregon quarterback situation because I think there's more question marks than we realize.
Mm-hmm.
You think there's a chance Oregon misses the playoff entirely?
I pray for that. I'm a Washington fan. I pray for that.
Right.
No, I don't think there's a world where they miss out. Now, I
if
think
Michigan gets hot, if Michigan is up
and Penn
Uh-oh.
State.
Wheelan hears me talking about Oregon right now, and I know he's not happy about this.
Michigan, Penn State, and Ohio State. Penn State.
They're talking about Oregon not making the playoffs.
I think Penn State's close to a lock. It's more like,
agree.
can Illinois be a big Steeler?
I'm not going to bet on this, but if I just had to pick two teams from everything I've seen in the offseason that could make the championship game, my bet would be Texas, Penn State.
You got it.
They spent so much dang money.
Yeah. Texas. It's I know Froton's in Austin, so I don't want to anger the crowd, but yeah, Texas.
They can't hear you.
Certainly positioned to get there, but yeah, I have some action on Penn State, and I'm going to be in the beautiful legal betting state of Iowa later this week, and I'm going to take some chomps at Clemson. I think actually.
Here's what I'll say to Texas, because I'll take some shots to Texas. They played 2 or 3 good teams all of last year, and that includes Georgia twice. Georgia dog walked them at home.
That's right.
Beat them with a backup in the SEC championship.
That's right.
And then they got, again, the score was closer than it indicated in that Ohio State game. They got dog walked in that game too. They were the beneficiaries of a massive collusion at the SEC level to give them the easiest possible schedules the first 2 years. And then when they played real teams, they fell short.
You know what?
The idea that we should be assuming Texas is the SEC champion this year is kind of crazy.
Anyone that bets Arch at 550 for Heisman's nuts.
I'm going to say this. The reason I push back is that Texas spent a lot of money on their defense.
Defense passed the eye test.
We don't talk about that.
Their defense was fine last year. Their defense was solid.
I like Nixon over Montgomery.
And they just made it better. Hey, Jared, we both took Tony from Miami, Florida. I took McFall, both wide receivers. McFall from SMU. What were your thoughts on your pick? And I know Eric's coming up sometime soon. I can't see.
Again,
if
I'm waiting on wide receiver, I got to shoot for upside. And Malachi Tony's one of those guys that you can shoot for a ton of upside there. You're talking about a potential replacement as a true freshman for Xavier Restrepo. He got a ton of praise in the spring on the summer school episode with Bud Elliott. He was said to be the most impressive wide receiver for Miami this year. It's a Shane Dawson system. We're expecting a wide receiver to come out of that as a CFF option. He's got Carson Beck thrown to him. I think that we will be looking at Tony. I think he was the guy that I looked at Ford. Ford was the guy I kind of wanted here, but Tony was the only one that made me think, should I go Tony instead of Ford? Well, my decision got made for me, thankfully, earlier in the draft, and I just took Tony.
A year ago, you're doing your crash course series with each position. I'm on your wide receiver show, and we were talking, Miami slot receiver, and I'm like, I'm always going to target that.
Yeah,
great, but what stinks in my eyes is it's a 4-man race right now that we really can't say any one guy has a leg up.
I would disagree. It really does sound like Tony's kind of breaking away from that pack.
Well, but here's the the one thing that I look at is, so you got 2 guys competing in the spring, and you bring in 2 after the spring. That raises some question marks for me. I literally do kind of feel like if there's I would love to handcuff that room, but like I said, for me, until I hear reports since they brought in 2 guys after spring camp, I'm going to view them as equal until I see any reports from fall camp. That's just my attitude. Cautious, playing it safe, but you don't bring in 2 guys if one of the 2 that you had was really good. It's just one way I'm kind of viewing it. So it kind of stinks of, you really are throwing darts on the wall there, but they're darts worth throwing, and that's where I'm going to back you on that one. They're darts worth throwing. And because there's so much question marks, it is a great value area to target later in drafts.
The only major thing I'm kind of worried about is Keelan Marion, who's also still on the board. So maybe I just double dip there and grab both of those guys. But
Tony Johnson, which I don't know if he can win it, but that's another name they brought in.
Nah, I doubt you get a young receiver like that after recruiting misses with just Jojo Trader, Ray Joseph, and you don't play him, right? If he's gonna be good enough for you, I think those guys were brought in as depth, right? I think again you're looking at Daniels on the outside, you're looking at Tony there in the slot, and then we'll see who wins that other outside position. That could be Marion as well. Marion played both slot and outside during his time at BYU. He's a bigger dude, so he can definitely move on the outside if they need him to. Tony Johnson's also a bigger dude as well, if I remember correctly, right?
I don't have it in front of me, but like I said, I'm just for everyone kind of throwing out there my approach and why that
Okay, never mind. He's 5'10".
receiver situations kind of further down. Like you had two guys battling in the spring, neither one separated from each other, and they signed two more. That's the whole reason why I'm just going to stay cautious until I get news that tells me otherwise. But I'm agreeing with you. We need like
What do you make of their backfield?
What's that?
What do you make of the backfield? Are we
Probably-
talking about Miami?
Split carries,
Yeah.
man.
Mhm.
It's just the simplest way I look at it. I'm only leaning Fletcher just from kind of seniority.
He's a big bloke, you know.
I actually lean Lyle of the
A
group.
lot of
I
people
think he's the highest upside of the group. Like when you look at his advanced stats last year, averaging over 4 yards after contact per carry, great breakaway percentage. Like Fletcher's great. He's a veteran of the program. He probably gets the first carry. Lyle, if there's gonna be a dude that breaks away from that pack, Lyle's that guy.
And I can agree with that.
Point, you know?
Like, I can agree with that. And for me,
I think I'm going to miss the
one
maker
thing
on the
I do
way
with
back.
with my draft guy is when people
He
look
does
at
not for-
player rankings and my projections, I
for
actually put
QBs.
running back 1
How many do
or
we
running
roster?
back 2.
You rostered 2, right?
Mhm.
And like for me, it was one of those. It was a tough one.
Well, give me my 2.
It was
I
a
don't
coin
see
flip.
anyone
I
else
just put
I'm
Fletcher in for
interested.
seniority, and I'm going to wait
You
for
got 2?
fall camps,
Oh,
which
yeah,
are
so.
weeks away.
Oh, yeah, you're good.
Before I
Mhm.
start doing those updates in the draft guide.
I gotcha.
But I'm right there with you. Like Lyle, everything you said, I can agree on 100%.
What about your pick there with McFall?
I like that McFall pick.
I'm asking you, Joe. You took him.
Oh, yeah. Shooting once again, shooting system, shooting upside, and I have other receivers that I have ranked higher that I know I can wait on. My heart pick, I was going to say something that would give it away. I'm not. But there's a guy I am 100% going to take in this league. I know I can wait. He's a top receiver on my board, and I know I can
Nico?
wait, and I can wait, and
Definitely.
I can wait.
I think. I like him. Sorry.
But yeah, it's just one of those. We're kind of at that point too with receiver, and where I don't mind is like I got Fields as a safe guy. He's like a floor guy. I got McAllister
Manny?
as a top dude. I don't
Thank
mind
you, my
taking risk
brother.
here because once again,
Great pick, Brad.
what we've talked about, this is the most volatile position, wide receiver. We can make transactions. I'm willing to swing and miss. You know, Eric's throwing me wiffle ball curveballs, and I'm swing and miss. Fine, whatever. Auction. I'll replenish my wide receivers there.
Yeah. It's easier to replace wide receivers in the auction and waivers just in general than it is running backs. That's why I targeted running back so heavily at the start here. And now with my last running back pick, I'm just going to shoot for the moon on the upside. And then if not, I can drop him week 1 and try to pick up another guy.
Oh,
Because the first couple of weeks, there'll be a couple guys that pop up.
I was about to say the one guy I really wanted for that last running back's gone, but I see another one, and I can wait. I like him. A heart pick of mine. I've never taken him.
Wow.
It'll be fun. Dude, we're almost 3/4 of the way through this. We're making
This
great
is
time.
Yeah. So
amazing.
we are right now. We are 1 hour 47.5 minutes in. I said we go 2 to 2.5, and we're just going to kind of play it out and feel it out. And part of it is we do have a number of auto draft people, which is helping speed this up.
That's very true.
Yep. But
Shout
I'm not
out the auto
complaining either.
drafters.
I'm not complaining either. All right. So Eric is going to be the next one on the board. I'm just looking over at the live chat. Jared, I've asked you to kind of keep an eye on the draft chat because I literally can't see it with my setup.
Mhm.
Anything like has anything jumped out there where someone's screaming like, "Please fix something"?
No, nothing. Nobody's screaming like fix something or anything. Just Brett commenting
Placeholders is
everything.
the one- Placeholders
10 minutes
is my
behind.
biggest worry.
Sal asked in the league chat if we could take placeholders, but
Yeah, it's one of those like because there's just guys that aren't there. Anyone watching, listening, yeah. And I can always go back through that chat and re-find it. It's just a matter of trying to let everybody else know.
mm-hmm. Oh, that's brutal for Eric. I knew he was looking at Message Maker on the way back here. That's brutal. 2
All right,
picks
Eric
ahead.
is on deck. with the wiffle ball bat.
Eric looking
Eric
not
is
so
on
happy,
deck
man.
with the wiffle ball bat.
Not
What you doing?
so happy right now.
And Carp is drafting right before you. He's going to steal someone you want. You know it.
Killing me. I mean, he's killing me right now with that mess to maker pick. Just put a stake in my heart.
Carp, put another stake in
so
Eric's
bad.
heart. Do it.
How do I get sniped in a 52 team?
I know, right? No, Eric, I got
Man.
what was it? In where am I picked at?
Where's
Dude, Rebel got me in the 4th round with that Elijah Green pick. That
I'm
hurt
already
a little bit.
I'm on auto.
If Lincoln Pear wasn't there, like I would have been
That
devastated by
baby.
that.
All right,
Well,
Eric, you're
I
up.
gotta go running back. I know I've already got it set to go. I'm not gonna bother clicking off because I already know who I'm gonna take. It's gonna be Lee Beebe. My beloved Lee Beebe from last year.
Lee Beebe.
Now this isn't
made me look good at UAB.
So here's an interesting thing. Me coming from Hoosier country right now, my assessment from everything I saw in the spring. Black is running back 1. Hemby is running back 2. Beebe is running back 3. And I think all 3 are going to see the field. That's been my read. And I thought Beebe might, before spring, I thought Beebe would be the running back 1 because of his receiving ability. Black had an amazing spring.
I've grown to hate Kurt Signetti and the way he just sucks running backs out of the portal and sticks them into this unholy creation of a committee that he creates.
So everyone draft the UCLA running backs too, please.
Also, I just realized both my quarterbacks have a week 4 bye. Screw me, bro.
That's the one position that I think you have to watch the bye weeks because you only get 2.
And guess what? I did not.
Shoot, Dallas Wilson is already taken. I was about to say Chris F. Good Dallas Wilson pick. I wouldn't have taken him this early, but I was just scanning for guys and I was kind of looking for his name. We are moving real fast. Bacon Fuel is about to be up, and then we're probably not too far away from me and Jared.
Yep, not too far.
There was someone I had in my receiver list, and now I can't find them, and maybe they're drafted. Because I've had enough Steve Weisers now where I'm feeling pretty good.
That's what's up, man.
I'm going to wait for Eric to come back, and I'm going to repeat that line. Eric and I are both professional wrestling fans. For those of you that don't know, Eric, okay, you and I are both professional wrestling fans. For those of you watching that don't understand what a Steve Weiser is, that's Stone Cold Steve Austin. That was his nickname for beers.
Yep, that sure was.
I'm just not going to do a self-cheer.
I got you.
No. Probably wouldn't be good. Yeah, you can cheer John.
No.
McKechnie's got you. Yeah.
Oh, actually, so you didn't see this earlier, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
My koozie, play college fantasy football.
Wow, that is an absolutely epic koozie. Much respect.
The other half of it says, I came, I drafted, I dominated.
That's a boy. Well, listen, I am going to have to bow out. I'm getting cramps right now.
Oh,
I don't mean
I'm an old man.
I mean,
I'm an old man too.
Right in my side. It's killing me.
I'm an old man too.
Real quick, that means he needs to get to 6 straight.
For like 3 hours, so I gotta.
Eric, before you hop off, can you tell Elliot screw you for me?
Can I what?
Can you tell Elliot screw you for me? He took Quavis Humphrey for me.
I was looking at him too.
Jared said, "Screw you for taking Quavis Humphrey from him." He said thank you. Right back at you, Jared.
I love the tadpole after party in Austin.
Yeah.
That is sick. Like the boys are just buzzing over there. That's tremendous.
Oh, we're ready. And we got, look, guys, we're 13. We're about to hit round 14 right now.
Oh, very nice.
It was pretty good. Pretty good. Like,
Hold
we
on.
only have to do 10 for the only the Scott Fishville only does 10.
Eric, I'm going to call you out.
We do 15.
Eric, I'm going to call you out here. You running that draft. You started before us, and we're in round 9.
I know,
with 52 teams. What's going on over there? Come on now. Get that shit together.
You have, out of the 52, I'll say 30 are auto picks.
There's
So, pare it down.
There's a number of them.
Pare it down. And then you have a 45-second clock.
Yep.
We don't have any clock. We're not here at a live draft.
Oh,
to
this
be
is a
hanging
charity
sword of
draft.
Damocles
Charity draft
over their
no
necks.
clock.
Can't do it. Well, it's that isn't me. That's Scott Fish.
Okay,
Eric, I'm noticing a lack of water guns right now, and I have to say that I'm ashamed, or I'm disappointed in you.
Where do I want to go?
Well, I have a lot of water guns. However, You know damn well there's no lack of wiffle ball bats.
Yeah.
Oh,
No lack of
That's
whiffs.
only slightly
All
more
right.
threatening.
That's right. So
All right.
he's like the
we
guy from
have-
Slipknot.
We will be hitting wiffle balls after this. We have a
Yep.
proper venue right after, and we're done. We're gonna be out. We're gonna be hitting wiffle balls. So you got to
Jared,
be
you're on the
mentally
clock.
prepared.
Oh,
You
good
remember
pick with
last time?
Graves.
Oh, go for it, Jared. Because last time we put out some of the BP footage, and I'll try to make sure I do that too. We got a Mike Bainbridge home run out of that
Oh.
last week. I mean, what more can you ask for?
So
Right?
I got to call this out. Mike Bainbridge, my old days, collegefootballgeek.com, running that.
Yep.
Bainbridge got his
Yep.
start at College Football Geek. I love Mikey.
Todd DeVries.
Guy's
Yes,
an OG,
Todd, my
man.
old partner. Love him to death, too. He
Yep,
is
Mr.
totally
Reeves.
retired. The very first Diary of a Draft Man mock draft video that I did, I was like, Todd, do you want to come out of retirement for one night? He's like, no.
Hard no, huh?
Hard no, but I love the dude. He's an amazing dude.
Well,
He's like John Wick.
he was a legit original. So
Oh, yeah.
he's got that under his cap. Cannot take that originality away from him. That was all we had back in the day was geek. CFB geek.
Well, I'm going to throw out. Hold on.
See you
I'm
guys.
going to throw out our main competitor. There's someone new, but they're a little different. But CFF Insider, who originally back in the day bought U Sports. They were the other big fish, and then also the amazing site we've not mentioned. But since we brought up Mike's name, the CFF site.
Yeah.
How can we not bring them?
Of course, the CFF site. Yeah,
The boys.
a good solid publication.
Joe
as was
DeSalvo,
Geek.
the man.
We're all doing it. A lot of originals we got kind of over here. John.
I like how you
great
say
Joe
originals. I was
Arpasi.
going to say fogies.
We got an Arizona takeoff here. We got Hudson and Hunter going back to back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very nice. Great pick by Goat Ropers, by the way, with James Blackstrain. I was kind of hoping he would make it back to me, and boy, he did not.
Pick.
Yeah, Blackstring's a good pick.
That's late.
All right,
But
so
the reason
Eric,
why
you got to
I
check
said-
out.
The reason why I said originals because it was like ECW originals. More a nod to the wrestling references. ECW original, and you're a CFF original.
So does that make me Sandman?
You are absolutely Sandman. Who doesn't want to be Sandman?
No, exactly. Well, hold on.
It's not so much who's Sandman. It's who is just incredible, and I just don't want just incredible. That's all I
I'm
want.
just gonna say this, Eric. If I could pick one ECW guy, this is what I'm picking. Can you see it?
Fair enough. I know.
Yes.
I see.
Yep.
Well, if you're doing RVD,
Yep.
then I'm going.
Sabu.
We can be a team. We can
There
be
we
a
go.
tag team.
There we
And
go.
on R.I.P. Sabu. R.I.P.
Yes, R.I.P.
The great
Sabu.
Sabu had arguably, like for final matches, that final match he took some bumps.
No Ric
Props.
Flair BS final match.
No, that was a 62-year-old man out there knowing that he was probably close to the end, and he gave it all. R.I.P. the great Sabu. And thank you, John, Jared, and Joe.
Thank you.
I hope we were able to give a little
Oh yeah.
Tadpole Bowl excitement, say hi to the boys. Guys,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
signing off over here for the 52. The
Great
boys
having
all
you, man.
all say what's up. We love you guys, and I will talk to you all later. Thank
All right,
you very much for
Eric.
having me on.
Eric, we're gonna
Thanks,
have our hair
Eric. Appreciate it,
competition.
man.
Eric, we're gonna have our hair competition at the Fantasy Football Expo. But great
Oh,
having you.
I think you got better hair than me, man. You got great hair, Joe. Guys, Joe's got serious hair. I have to cut it, man. If I lived in Texas, I would have a whiffle. It is the hair, not good in Texas. But
All right, take it
thank you
easy,
very
Eric.
much, guys. Go get them, boys.
All right,
Peace, bro.
I'm gonna switch this over once I give me a minute, guys. I have no clue.
I'm a little high there.
Kick Eric. All right, Eric's gone.
There we go.
We are good on the screen. And I have no clue where we are in picks.
We're finishing up the ninth
yeah.
round right now. Again, based on your timing, Joe, I think we can make it to the end of the 10th round. We could probably call it there.
Yeah, we're right about to hit 2 hours. So I'm gonna say we'll do at least the 10th. If this goes fast, we have gone fast. We can maybe kick out the 11th.
Potentially.
Exactly.
And then it would just be the last round.
Just somewhere in between that 2 to 2.5 has always been kind of my idea. But yeah, also it was great having Eric on. Everybody watching. once again, if you're brand new to college fantasy football, you've probably gotten to see Eric from the Tadpole Bowl. I always like to talk about, if you're brand new to college fantasy football, we talk about a lot of stuff that maybe we might talk about it a little quick and you're on the catch up phase, but like, Eric's at NBC Sports. He's with that Fantasy Points team. Great guy. Awesome team that they have over there, just like the awesome team at Rotowire and just like the awesome team over at contestants.com. I don't have a team. It's just me. It's me.
One-man band.
It is a one-man band, and my wife every now and then sighing and me telling her, okay, in season, I don't do any work on Thursdays. That's our day.
You got to have the day.
That's how I am on Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Tuesday guy.
Was that date night, Jared? Is that
Wednesday's date night for me and my fiance?
Well, and for you do it year long. I appreciate it. Like I commend that. My wife only gets a day in football season. I then juggle it around her work schedule out of season.
No, again, we go out of our way to have a date night every Wednesday, even if it's something simple like, hey, let's like order in some pizza and we're gonna have a video game night or something like that.
So I did not respond to this. I'm going to do my third movie reference for the night. I did not respond to your rebuilding the Star Wars Lego spaceship tweet.
Arc 170?
That you had. But I love comedies. I'm a Gen Xer. I love the 80s comedies. I so wanted to reply with an ogre meme that just screams, nerds!
I think I'm vaguely aware of that reference.
Yeah. Oh,
okay. You've seen it on Twitter at the very least.
Oh, I'm sure.
Least, but Jared and everyone watching, you younger folks, Revenge of the Nerds is a movie they won't make today because there are a lot of stereotypes
Oh, yeah,
in it.
that's right. It is Revenge of the Nerds.
But here's my sales pitch for Revenge of the Nerds. The two worst stereotypes of the movie are two nerds, Lamar and Takashi, and they're arguably two of the most loved characters of that movie. Which means they kind of they did the stereotype, but they did it in a way everybody loves these two. Takashi and Poindexter are my two favorite nerds. But
oh, are you freaking kidding me? Go Rovers 2 back to back on me?
Oh,
bro.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, you wanted some McGowan action?
That hurts.
Oof, this is fast. Really fast. All right, Jared.
God, I guess I will get McGowan. That sucked. All right, we'll go upside here. We'll just go after a system that I think is underrated right now. Getting some buzz from Braden Pegan out of Utah State. Mm-hmm. I think there's going to be a top wide receiver there. Just have no clue who it is, and I'm going to take an upside shot here. And if he doesn't work out, I'll find somebody else on the waiver wire.
All right, so I'm going to say this. I planted my flag on this guy before anybody else in the CFF community. I'm sticking with this flag. People disagree with me. But as soon as I heard his top competition transferred out, I planted my flag. I'm taking Carl Chester, Southern Miss, explosive outside wide receiver 1.
We've gotten some Southern Miss love in this draft. I noticed one. I had a guy in my queue. I had a Metcalf in my queue.
Metcalf
for last pick,
and that's where everyone's looking. That's where everyone's looking. And I had Jared on my podcast in April, and we were talking about these receivers. That was where I first laid out my kind of point of, in this Blake Anderson offense, explosive outside receiver is what you want to try and target, because when he doesn't have that as a wide receiver 1, the fantasy value drops. And Chester's the only outside guy, explosive, high yardage per reception. Like, he's literally the only one on the roster that fits that mold. So I just planted my flag early, and once again, as I said earlier, I am willing to swing and miss. He's my running back wide receiver 5 out of 6.
I mean,
I have no problem.
Micah Davis also kind of fits that caricature a little bit as well, and he's worked with Blake Anderson before as well. Yep. So I wouldn't be too confident. But again,
his yards per reception is way lower.
At Ole Miss. in the SEC, like yeah, that makes sense. But
Mhm.
again, I'm not going to climb you too much here
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we're 10th round. We're in the 10th
Exactly.
round
10th
of
round
a
of a
50
52
teamer, right?
team.
Like yeah, dude, take a shot. I just took Braden Pegan,
Yeah.
a guy that nobody's talking about.
Exactly,
All right,
exactly.
Like I didn't know this guy's name until like last week. Okay, like we're just at that point,
Yeah.
and boy, I really messed up these bye weeks. I got 3 of my running backs on week 9, 2 of them on week 5, 2 of them on week 6.
I
Wide
can't.
receivers, I've got 2 of them on week 9, 3 of them or 2 of them on week 3, 2 of them on week 5. Like I'm screwing this up so bad.
Hey, Jared, I can't even see any of my wide receiver bye weeks on my little roster thing outside of my top receiver. Like it's just the way that my screens are set up to do the broadcast. I can't even check them.
That's brutal.
I'm flying
That's
blind,
brutal.
folks.
John's just slinging it. Oh, and
I
actually,
mean,
John, I want to sit here and compliment you. I love that you brought up a quote. Any of us that like this YouTube channel, I caught it right away. But you said the boys are buzzing.
mhm.
The what is it? Yeah, you betcha. Is that the name of their channel, or I can't remember exactly what it is?
Let's see. Oh, okay. So he,
You know who I'm
the
talking about, right?
original "The Boys Are Buzzing" is from this video from like 2017 or something,
Oh,
where
really?
they're talking to some guy who's like hammered at a University of Maine football tailgate.
Oh,
He
wow.
says some stuff that I'm not going to say
Uh
on this here stream, and then he just goes, "The boys are all buzzing,"
huh.
like just the biggest like d bag energy, and not to say that the tadpole had the d-bag energy, but like
No.
I've just sort of
Yeah.
co-opted like anytime that it's going on, the boys are buzzing. Absolutely.
Well, when something goes viral like that, and what's funny is, I'm sure everybody knows the college video production video where the guy very uncomfortably is talking, and then out of nowhere just throws out, and boom goes the dynamite. We've all heard that one.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
My wife was at Ball State at that exact time, and that's where it happened. Is at Ball State.
That was a
she
trivia question
yeah.
here a couple weeks ago. It was what college what
Mhm.
was the goes the dynamite guy from?
And she said he was the most awkward dude you've ever met.
Yeah.
Which, when you watch it, you're
Checks
like,
out.
that makes sense. No, but yeah,
Uh,
there's a I don't know if that there's a YouTube channel called Yeah You Betcha, but they're kind of people out of like the North Midwest. I don't know if they're Minnesota, Dakotas, or what, but they're very funny, and they just have a lot of these like um, very family friendly sort of things. But it's one of the things of what's behind the koozie is a bush latte. If any of you guys know what that is,
A
but like that,
delicacy.
but that exactly. But that like that's their thing, and they're always like dads like one of their videos could be like the progression of dad's garage drinking, the five stages of dad's garage drinking, and it's always Bush Light in theirs, and it's always the boys are buzzing.
It's just, I mean, I like to think that the kid from Maine, it's public domain.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
I think he just wants his legacy to live on as he's like probably like a consultant or something now. But
From what you
uh,
said, I'm curious. Did he have a like popped collar? Like we talked about
he
those '80s bad guys, the bully on the lacrosse team.
yeah, he was like the modern version of it, like
Hmm.
Fratagonia vest, like a gingham shirt, just like just wearing like a $500 outfit to a University of Maine football game type of scene.
Hmm. What's funny is my sophomore year in college, I said I played Division III football. Um, we went 9-1, missed the playoffs for an at-large bid, and they gave it to a team in a different region that went 7-3. We were very, very, very good, and our team was filled with D1 transfers. Like we had guys from Cincinnati and Ohio State, Eastern Kentucky, but like when you talk about Maine, I'm like Maine football day, and I'm like, we probably could have beat them. We probably could have
It,
beat them.
yeah, so nuts to Maine, nuts to the University of Maine. I forget which town it's in.
Hmm. All right, right now we are at 2:08. Sorry, 2 hours 8 minutes. Let's just let the 11th round slide, and then we'll call it a day. You guys good with that?
I'm down. There's one more pick that I really kind of want to make.
Me
So
too.
like if I could just
Me
find
too.
out today. Well,
And
there you go. He's gone.
oh,
Dan is gone.
actually,
And
the
he's
best.
gone. So
No,
let's just cancel it now.
well,
Stop.
here's the
Time.
best part.
Gone.
Here's the
Gone.
best part. The guy I'm going to draft will likely slide to me, and you will likely be pissed that I stole him from you.
We'll
And
find out.
and better yet, and it won't be the first time I've done it this draft season.
I'm just gonna sit here.
I love Jared's face. For everyone that
just
can
gonna-
see it. This is
I'm
what it's
just gonna-
like in round 11 of a 52 team.
I'm
draft.
tired, man. I don't think you realize how much I am thanking God that I don't have a live draft stream to do in like an hour.
Yeah.
I'm thanking God that I have a day of rest between this because right now, like I would show up to that live draft just.
And you know what the best part is? When this is done, I'm going to be recording my Sunday podcast. And I am. I need to count the.
Oh,
this,
dude.
This is Steve
Thank-
Weiser, number 7.
Dude, I
That's what's up.
I
Yeah,
recorded
I gotta
I recorded
freaking reload.
CTN early
I'll be
this
right
week,
back.
and boy, am I glad that I did so. Because doing three shows,
Mhm.
especially we're doing the crash courses right now, and
Yep.
Joe, you've been on one of those with me before, and those are hefty. They're like this one I just edited today is
lot
about
of
2.5 hours, and
But-
so
But for all of you guys watching, I'm going to tell you right now, it's probably the single best thing you do, in my opinion. All year long, your Crash Course series is the most valuable thing I think you put out. So if you guys don't know Jared, you don't know Chasing the Natty, go subscribe to his YouTube channel. Right now, you've only done I'm behind on watching a lot of you guys, but you've only done the quarterback. You've only posted the quarterback one. Am I correct?
yes, Monday we'll have running backs.
Yeah. So, like, he'll go through and do each position. Top 36 people in your rankings. Do I have that right?
Yes.
Yeah. If you're and also, if you're brand new, we've been talking about Tadpole Bowl. If you're not a CFF regular, you're brand new to this, like, watch if you can only commit a limited amount of hours and figure out how to do your draft, watch the Crash Course on Chasing the Natty. That's the simplest way I can put it.
Yeah, again, we do the top 36 of the position. We don't cover everybody because, again, if we did, those things would be 5 hours long.
Mhm.
But, again, we go through, we do 12 at a time, and we pick myself and whoever I have the guests on. Like, last week was Chris Moxley. This week it's Justin Leo from Volume Pigs.
Naturally,
And
for
we-
running backs.
Yeah, exactly. And so we go through 12 at a time. We each pick 2 that we want to discuss more in depth. Obviously, if we, have a little bit of extra time and want to give our thoughts about somebody else, we do. After we're done with the top 36, then we go into players that we think are going too high in drafts, players we think are going too low. That covers the majority of the second half of the show, and then we'll finish the show usually with players or competitions that are still ongoing. Quarterbacks, that was easy. Running backs, obviously, and wide receivers, it gets a little bit more difficult.
Mhm.
And then the last Crash Course series we do is tight ends,
Everyone's favorite, and it always gets the most
defenses and
views.
kickers. Boy, do we just smash those 3 together.
Yeah, and I'll tell you too. Like,
Believe it or not, the least watched Crash Course ever.
exactly. I try and spread my content out a little bit just to from the work side of things. But this last Monday, for anyone that you're just brand new and stumbling across my YouTube channel, I did my overrated, underrated players article, which came out last Thursday. Technically today, this Thursday, we're recording this. This is live on a Saturday. But like that's hitting on exactly what you're talking about, Jared. Like players you think are going too high, too low, which I want to thank everybody that actually does go to my website. You guys have just swamped that article because that is one of the most valuable things you can figure out. John, like what type of stuff do you guys have coming up at Rotowire from the college fantasy side of things? Whether it's out, like just recently out, gonna be out in the next week, handful of weeks, like things that people should know about.
So let's see. So we're gonna have like our sort of every year we do like a conference by conference, guys to know and all conference teams type of stuff, just so that we're covering the entire gambit. So that will be out. Our guy Chris Benzine just did a piece on our underdog best ball tools. If you're in a state where you're able to do underdog best balls, We've got you covered there with our cheat sheet and just some kind of tips of the trade and stuff because Chris did well in the overall contest last year, and I, if I remember right, I did pretty good in one of those tournaments as well over at Underdog. And then beyond that, myself and my good friend Dan Watkins, if you can believe this, a guy from Massachusetts who really likes college football. He and I used to go on this show called the company was called a Monkey Knife Fight. It was sort of like a a sort of player props type of website before those got really big, like before Prize Picks and Underdog like really got huge into that. We used to do a show over there. We are starting our own college football show. It's not going to be all CFF. It's going to be a little
Joe,
bit
you're on the
of
clock, by the way.
Yeah, I'm
little
watching.
grab bag of
Yep.
Stolen from you
CFF,
again, Jared.
DFS, and betting. Go on.
No, keep
Nah,
going.
I added him to the queue. I had a feeling that was who you're talking about, but
Yep.
it's fine. I had 4 guys ahead of him, so ha!
Keep going, John. Keep going, John. Sorry.
Gotcha. So just if you follow me on Twitter, I'm at Johns_tailgate, or you can find my stuff over on Rotowire. I'll be promoting the new college football pod that we're doing. We're going to be going twice a week. I think the loose schedule is Mondays and Thursdays. So keep an eye for that. I'm excited to kind of like get back more into the front facing college football game after being a little bit more behind the scenes these last couple of years.
That CFF Top Gun challenge kind of energizate that fire that you had to start doing that.
That absolutely did. Like that was awesome. And like like while we were doing it, I'm just like, dang, I really like miss talking about this stuff. And Jared was nice enough to bring me on his show last summer, and that sort of like was another thing. Was like I really miss this. And then during the season, I'm just kind of like sitting there on the sidelines. We do our kind of recap of the running back projections back in December, and it's like, all right, like next season, got to get back in this. And so here we are. I'm pumped.
You know it as well as we do, John. College is better than NFL when it comes to doing fantasy content. It's way more fun.
It's so fun. It's so wide open, you know?
That's exactly what I was about to throw out there for all of our like the people that are watching newer to CFF to college fantasy football. Maybe you tuned in because you're trying the Tadpole Bowl for the first time or something. John does a ton of NFL stuff. You're hearing him tell you right now, and I'm going to put words in your mouth, but just give me a yes or no.
Go on.
You have way more fun not talking about this, but just playing college fantasy football. Is that a yes?
Yeah, because I mean the NFL is so like solved and like guys will just like throw X amount of dollars at like script programs and stuff like that to like optimize their best ball portfolios and stuff like this. This is like college fantasy football is all about like, hey, like I'm gonna dive into this particular team's offensive tendencies. I'm going to measure that against their conference strength and like there's so many ways of going about it, and like you guys are incredible at doing this as well. And it's so different than the NFL. NFL, you just have 32 teams and it's all kind of the same. It's just like the variance is very minimal, whereas there could have been a guy that was taken this round that changes the entire course of the way that this draft plays out, and that's just not what's up in the NFL.
And that's my
John.
favorite
You're on the
part.
clock, by the way.
Great.
That's my
Also,
favorite, to pick
Joe.
up. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say, Joe. Let's just knock this whole thing out. Let's just get through round 20 or round 12. We're here. We might as well.
Yeah, geez. Okay, geez, a Pete. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, John, to follow up on what you were saying, I agree with you. Like, the main point you just made, you could draft someone here late in the draft that literally explodes and becomes a conference a championship winner. That doesn't happen in NFL.
Nope.
There's so much static to it.
Right.
I can't remember everyone who had the talk last year at the Fantasy Football Expo. For any of you also that are new, yes, we're going to let this run. Fantasy Football Expo is held every year in Canton, Ohio. They have both NFL and a growing group of college people that are there, and college got their own keynote speaking event. And a lot of what guys were talking about, Jared was there, Eric was on that panel. Trying to remember who else. John Lobb was on that. There were 5 of you, right, Jared?
Yeah, it was you, me, John
no,
Bob,
I was
Eric.
in the stands. I was.
Oh,
in the
that's right.
stands.
That's right. You were in the
I was in the
stands.
stands.
Chevy. I don't. Was Chevy up there?
I can't.
I think he might have had to leave early or something like
Yeah,
that. I
that
don't know
might
if
have been it. No, actually, no. He came in late after it.
No, he was there. He was there 100%. I remember him sitting next to me now. Yeah, I think there's 5 of us up there.
Okay, but the whole big part of that talk was, yeah, college is better. Like to paraphrase, college is more fun.
It's the arcade version of fantasy. Like again, you score more. There's more players to get there. Like there's like you are going to, like you mentioned, just find diamonds in the rough all over.
If you don't
John,
mind,
by the way, you're back on the clock.
if you don't mind me jumping in here while John's making his pick, Jared, the thing you just said, there's more players. That's always the biggest pushback of NFL people looking at college fantasy football. Well, there's too many players. I don't know if I can know them. And no. This isn't a negative. This is actually the best part of this.
It is.
This is the best part of this. Is that, you know what? All of us that you guys are watching right now, we scour these rosters. We're like, hey, these are the guys that you need to do, blah, 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 blah. And then week 3, there's a bunch of names, especially at receiver, that pop off that we're like, yeah, we didn't even know who they were. And
Yeah.
if they don't win you your league, they might make you the playoffs.
By the way, John, great job with the William McCoy pick there. I had him in my queues for this last round.
Whew, that was tough. Like I had kind of like I was a little bit tilted. I had a certain other San Jose State guy I was considering there, and I see that he had been taken, or either that or I had misspelled his name. But regardless, I had to kind of shoot from the hip a little bit there, and I'm glad that it gets the JP stamp of approval there.
John, blaming on the Steve Weisers is fine. I'm buzzing pretty good. I'm just gonna say right now.
We're feeling great, man. I'm a fishbowl pint glass dealio.
Well, and you were posting earlier today about a good beer that you're having. Am I right?
Let's see, was I? Yes, I was. Yeah, at the place I was having some suds at had a DirecTV pint glass, which I thought was very funny.
Yeah. Let's see here. Okay, we're getting close, Jared, for our last picks of this draft. I know who I'm getting, and I know he's slipping through all the cracks. And I'm locked into running back. Like, what position are you locked into right now?
I'm locked into wide receiver. Again,
Gotcha.
I've taken, what is this, 3 straight wide receivers to end this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I'm even more locked in because of this stupid bye week situation I got going on here. Every wide receiver I want turns out has a week 5 bye, and I already got 5 of those on my roster, or 3 of those on my roster out of the 5 that I have. So like
week 6,
I finally found a
week
guy
11, I'm toast.
that I feel pretty good. I'm kind of shocked he's still on the board, given the fact that he plays for a pretty big team.
We're moving good.
I guess a lot of people are just kind of forgetting that he's a decent shot at him being the wide receiver 1 for this team.
I'm curious.
And it's not typically a team we love drafting for fantasy. Don't get me wrong, but again, we're freaking 50, like the equivalent of 52 rounds into this, right?
Does it rhyme with
every team?
Does it rhyme with Mutah?
It does not rhyme with Mutah.
Because I don't think I've seen their wide receiver 1, but at the same time, I've missed a lot of picks.
Matty Ice is writing down some names for the 60 round league currently. I mean, fair enough. I mean, that's exactly what you should be doing right now, considering how deep this freaking goes. Dude, Goat Roper's about to take my guy here. He's about to take my guy, and he's gonna take me off. He did not. He
All
took
right, so Matty, you're gonna want to write down the name I'm about to draft. Guarantee you that. If he's taken, I will be 100% amazed, and I know who my fallback is. Yeah, everyone's going.
All right, DJ Blacka. All right, give me the true wide receiver 1 for Georgia this year, Kobe Young.
I was wondering if you were going to go that direction.
No, and this is the best part. This is the only format worth drafting.
This is the
Georgia
only
receiver.
format where he is like
Yes.
legitimately a great pick this late.
And now
That's
I'm
awesome.
going to throw this one out there because I've not paid attention. Were Penn State receivers drafted? Because this is also one of those where you might actually do it. I never paid attention.
I was considering it.
I'm gonna let you-
Trevor.
Trebor was definitely taken.
Pena wasn't?
He was.
Trebor Pena.
Okay. Oh, no, sorry. Once again, Steve Weisers. So I'm going to make my pick. Little running back whose value has gone up here in the summer.
They clearly came off at one point because the top one still on the board is Kyron Hudson and Liam Clifford. So the likes of what's their name? There's got to be a couple other ones in there because I don't think those are the next two guys after Pena. But Caden Saunders, I think, came off the board at some point.
Then we saw a former Penn State guy, Harrison Wallace.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Ole Miss one is like if you get that one right this year, you
Yeah.
might be sitting pretty.
for sure.
But it also comes down to Simmons, doing his thing. I didn't realize that he only played one drive last year. I was in the house for his only drive, and I was So I
He
went to
looked
Oxford.
dang good. Let me tell you that much.
I mean, he carved us up. Georgia was like they got the turnover on the first drive. I'm talking all sorts of smack to my cousin who was a freshman at Ole Miss at the time, and like, oh boy, it's gonna be a long day, boys. And then it was a long day for me. just sitting there in the rain.
Was just decidedly a very not fun game for Georgia because it just couldn't get anything going in that game. Oh, good pick with Devin Ellison there by
every
Brian
drop
Everett.
back, back was just getting crushed.
I was even saying good pick in my head. Good pick with Black, the guy who came out of spring camp as running back 1 at IU, even though maybe not enough volume, but at the same time, last pick of the draft. Well, I'd take that shot.
Yeah, why not?
But get back to my last pick, Jackson at Rice. I'm forgetting.
Oh yeah, good call. Yeah, that's a good pick.
I'm forgetting the name of his backup, but at the end of the spring, Atkins. Thank you. At the end of the spring, there was a preset running back 1 and running back 2. This was a settled backfield. Running back 2, and once again, the Steve Weiser hit me. Did he transfer out, or did he just, or was it kicked out? I forget.
No, so Atkins did the weird thing, right, where they opened up this extra transfer portal window here for teams that like players that were going to be cut from the 85-man rosters or whatever, and they wanted to make sure that those players could find a home. Yeah. So they opened the portal up one more time, and we were sitting here thinking like, oh, that won't be anybody of consequence. Well, except Rice's RB2 entered the portal because of that.
Yeah.
So
and
clearly,
he was a solid RB2.
Yeah, so I think there was something else going on there to where they were willing to cut him, which is again what is going on with the players that are entering the portal right now. They're being cut.
That Rice backfield is a system I've had my eye on since the spring. Mm-hmm. It's worth investing in late.
Yep.
And so like for me, I'm just like, all right, you know what? That like for the last pick of this draft, I'm like, I'm very happy if this one pays off. All right, I'll take it.
He was my highest running back still on the board for quite a while here, Joe, because I couldn't take any more running backs, but he's been staring at me for a while.
Like LJ Johnson was the top one on my board, but as I said before, I want to shoot for ceiling over. When I make my rankings, I'm trying just like you. We're doing a balanced approach with things, and I'm just like, I don't necessarily like the ceiling of that one, but like the ceiling of Jackson at Rice, that could really pay off. And I really view him like, I'm brain farting. My concussions for football.
Shouldn't have picked a fight with that guy.
With the left tackle.
No. It was I shouldn't have kept playing in games when I had a concussion and not say anything to the trainer.
Also that.
Yeah, that Kirby from Washington State. Like, I kind of view those two guys in a similar realm of that big potential upside, a decent system, but there's a lot of question marks. And I'm not saying anything in terms of where I put them ranking-wise, but just how you evaluate the system and the situation. But the difference was with Jackson, like, his situation got a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like the Washington State system better, but, like, this is one running back situation, and Jared, you can throw that out there, whether or not you guys talk about it in any part of your upcoming Monday episode. But like, I don't think enough people are talking about the Rice running back room.
No, we didn't bring it up for this upcoming episode,
Mm-hmm.
but I agree with you that it like as I realized I was looking at the wrong system to be kind of emulating there, and I realized like this offensive coordinator change is a little bit more impactful than I was giving it credit for. Like they're going from an air raid system to like a wing T offense, right?
Yeah.
And they're gonna run the ball a ton. Oh, great pick! Like, some really
Oh,
nice picks here in the last couple of
and
rounds here.
Bennett.
Like
I don't
Deshaun
mind the
Martin.
Bennett pick either.
Yeah, I was say Bennett, Kennesaw State, Milan Graham out of Ohio State. Just shoot your shot there, and then Deshaun Martin out of Kent State.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to catch the
Yeah.
ball at Kent State.
Yep. Yep.
Jared,
Somebody.
on the front of like the philosophical change at certain spots, like
Mm.
what did you think of Fresno State? Like they went down to the FCS level. They were always like the place to get passing production. It looks on paper, based on where the coaching staff came from, going to be a little different this year. Like, do you think that like compares a little bit to Rice based on what we're talking about?
I am not taking a single wide receiver from Fresno State. Again,
Nice.
they will spread the ball around. They got EJ Warner back there as a starting quarterback. It's going to be the Bryson Donaldson show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Like they have to rely
Yep.
on him. I
Yeah.
don't see another way about it. Again, Alex Perry, great pick by Kevin
Yeah, I like that
Callahan
pick
this
too.
late as well.
And John, to get on that Fresno State question, um, I am going to do some promotional work here. Back in February, I did a article series called CFF Burning Questions for 2025. One of those burning questions was, is Fresno State going to be a fantasy jackpot for a running back? 1 or 2 weeks ago, I think, don't remember exactly, I did 2 articles, returned burning questions. And I had that one mixed in there where I'm like, okay, here's things where we actually have some answers after spring. The answer that I see is that South Dakota offense that's now coming into Fresno State. They would use 2 running backs, but even their top running back is really, really good. But the biggest difference I kind of see is like, excuse me, Steve Weiser's hitting. Donaldson has impressed the coaching staff so much through winter workouts, through the spring,
Mm-hmm.
and we are complete, guys. Draft is done.
That's unreal. Look at that.
Exactly.
I can't believe I am so tired.
2 hours and 31 minutes. We got it done. But like Donaldson has just impressed so much. I think he'll actually have a higher carry workload percentage than the South Dakota running back one from last year. So
I can see it.
if there's a fantasy gold mine, like Donaldson's the dude. I'm a huge fan of him. Huge fan of him. But just like Jared said, the only Jared left one thing out that I do like about this system. The passing game stinks, but tight end is worth a late shot. And if you've not looked into the tight end position at Fresno State, look into it with that offensive system. But once again, it's kind of a dart. I'm going to say it's a dart throw sort of a thing. Like your last pick in a draft, but it's worth looking at.
I'm a little surprised that Warner, like, especially like, his dad's Kurt Warner, like, he agreed to go to that offense. Like I feel like there's somewhere where he
He
could
was
have
going
really
somewhere
shined.
he could start. That's
Yeah,
all he was doing.
yeah.
Again, like he didn't work out at Rice, and then just went somewhere he could
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
I watched Rice all last year because a guy I played football against from Little League through high school, Marcus Tuiasosopo, was the offensive coordinator at Rice, and I'm just like, no, they were freaking awful, and Warner was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to like literally there was just nowhere else to go outside of FCS, in my opinion.
I'm willing to give him a second shot, but I think you guys are probably right. But I don't know. I remember him like looking like there was something there at Temple. Maybe I'm just betting on him being a dad or being like having the Kurt Warner in him and also the Steamwisers.
I can hear the Steve Weiser part where I think Jared and I will both agree is that there's just a lack of volume.
Yeah, right. For this year for fantasy, like no, it totally stinks for Warner. Like no way. But again, just a little surprised that for his purposes, like development wise. Like he's going to be throwing it like 23 times a game, maybe.
He's not going to the NFL, so like, what's his
Yeah.
plan? I guess I don't know.
Well, and that's the two things you can do when you're that type of player. You can't go to the NFL. Do you want playing time, or do you want to get whatever bag you can before you have to get a real job? And a lot of players, I think, go through that decision making process. I can go to the FCS and be a starter, or hey, maybe I'll go be a backup and make $500,000, which is going to allow me to buy a new car, get an apartment, condo, whatever. Like, I think there's a lot of guys that they have to make that hard decision.
Exactly. Jared, what's going on?
What do you mean? I'm headed out. I gotta go.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say, we are done here, guys. I appreciate both of you guys being here for the whole time. I appreciate Eric Froton for coming in while he was doing double duty. And I appreciate every single person here watching. Jared, John, any last things that you guys want to throw out there about what's coming up with your content, your sites, everything?
I'll just make it quick. Again, rotowire.com. We just did a big rebrand, big redesign. Check us out. If you use promo code YouTube15, you can get 15% off. Really helpful for this time of the year, for your NFL or your college fantasy football needs. We got you. And I just got to give a big shout out to Joe. Joe has been planning this literally since Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah.
Like I remember the exact, like being out on a walk, getting the DM from Joe being like, hey, I got this idea, 52 teams. It's amazing to like see this like come out and come to fruition. So big credit to you. Really appreciate that. And I know that like the listeners and the viewers super passionate about it as well. So you've tapped a great vein. Love it. So credit to you.
And,
yeah, I'll start out just by saying shout out to you, Joe. Again, you did a great job, and I'll be real. I was curious to see whether or not you'd be able to fill this 52 teamer. That's no small feat, and you did it with flying colors. So congratulations, man. This is a huge feat you got done.
And I had to do it with only premium subscribers, but if for those of you while John was talking, I was holding up that championship belt. I'm also going to throw out congratulations and thanks to Arm Championship Belts at armchampionshipbelts.com. They have made this awesome belt that the winner's going to get of this league. Those of us that are going to Canton for the Fantasy Football Expo, I'm bringing it. You're gonna like Jared's gonna hold that thing and go, "Holy crap, this is heavy!" But like, this is the real deal.
I don't know, man. I've been working out.
It's true.
I've seen them pea shooters. But like Arm Championship Belts has been an amazing partner. I'm so happy with what they've given. There are a lot of other companies that do fantasy football belts, but it's like one flat sheet of metal and they just etch a laser. This is all etched metal, everything. Like it is a complete difference. So go check out armchampionshipbelts.com. I love the relationship that I've built with them. I'm so glad all of you guys watched. Thank you for watching the Let Purple Rain podcast. Your CFF reign starts here.
All right, I don't know if they can hear us on the screen, but I really appreciate you guys, and I do have to head out.